Okay. So then I will start with a gentleman all the way to my left, but as you look on the screen, but not on the left, of course, of our hearts, always front and center. And that, of course, is Johnny Pittman, Mr. Video Store Cowboy. Johnny, how are you doing, my friend? Thank you again for rolling with the punches and all that as we went through that. But thank you for being a part of this. And how are things going with you on your side of the pandemic? Are things over by you?
I'm sorry. I don't have very many words right now. I'm still a little emotional from listening to that. So I'm just gonna say things are good. I thank you, Kat. That was an amazing story.
Yep.
Hadn't read that one yet, so that was pretty fantastic.
Yep.
Um, Pandemic aside, California seems to be doing okay. I guess I mean, I don't know how it's going in Zach's area, but I know in my area we're not seeing as many
No,
people.
we're okay.
Oh, jeez. He's
I
like,
mean,
well,
we've got they've closed all of our parks, they've closed all of our beaches, they've closed a lots of areas where people were actually congregating because they couldn't go to restaurants and shops and all of that. But people are still getting outside and at least getting some exercise and getting some vitamin D. So that is nice. But yeah, we're just surviving over here just like everybody else and trying to not go stir crazy. And yeah, so I'm here for a big bad fight, dressed up as Chef Boyardee.
that's right. Yes, that's right. I dressed up as Chef Boyardee. I forgot that. That's really the best thing, is the fact that you're set up like that. Shouldn't our windows be 2 meters apart? I'm not. I'm not. I'm not practicing digital distancing. No, I actually, it's very important. I'm trying not to use the term social distancing. I'm trying to use the term physical distancing now on the advice of health
Yeah.
experts who have also been advising us to do this because the social impact of this is incalculable, beyond the effects, obviously, of medical concerns and economic concerns. This is a way to kind of bring us together in a way safely that we would not be able to do in real life. But I am very much looking forward to seeing all of these people, all of whom I have met in person except for Zach, but getting a chance to see them face to face, and I look forward to a big hug, with each of these people when it's safe to do so. So, but in the meantime, social connecting and physical distancing is where we're
And
at. But it's a pleasure.
Johnny
to have
and I have met in person before. I do exist, guys. I am a real person.
I mean, but
That's
that's
just what an
He does
illusion would
exist.
say.
I
Yeah,
caught
I
him
was
playing
just gonna
some
say,
MTG.
that's
Exactly
what
it
you
was.
exactly. That's what a bot would say.
Magic
What a
mouth.
hologram would say.
Exactly. Trust me, human. I am real. Like, this is just
Hello, fellow
You
humans.
guys are finally catching on. Play as a robot in a sci-fi RPG. Come on, guys.
everything I say is organically generated. No, I mean it's the best. I myself am a beat popsicle. Oh man. But it's a great pleasure to have Johnny with us. It is also, of course, a great pleasure to have Kat with us, and I have spent a bunch of time just extolling her praises. Obviously, I'm so glad that we get to have Kat as a part of our crew and playing with us. But it's just great also to have her as someone who contributes her wonderful work as author. And so, Kat, again, that was great, amazing. I can't say it anymore. It was really awesome. So, that said, how are you doing otherwise? Besides, no big deal, just having stories read by LeVar Burton, whatever. Like it's just another Friday, But no, how are you? How are you otherwise?
That was very sudden because I only found out this morning, and I was telling the story earlier to everybody that I accidentally sent LeVar Burton to voicemail.
Can you please tell this story because it's really great?
Yeah, please do. It's fantastic.
Please tell the story. It's a great
So
story.
they'd had us send in. They approached all the Nebula nominees and said LeVar Burton's looking for stuff to read for his podcast. Are you willing to send stuff? And I was like, well, yes, I am. And so this morning the phone rang, and I don't like talking on the phone. This is one of my things. I do not like talking on the phone. And so I picked it up to make sure it wasn't, my mother with an emergency, and it was like, oh, not anybody I know. Sent it to voicemail, and then 30 seconds later said, L. Burton, Los Angeles. And then went upstairs and was like, holy fuck, I just sent LeVar Burton to voicemail and called him back. And luckily he did not hold anything against me. So that's how my day has been.
Exactly. Did he send you to voicemail first? Like, well, listen, see Rambo. I don't need.
Turns out that like in person or on phone calls, he's just no business. Like he's a straight up guy. You can't take anything. No jokes.
That's it. He's a Klingon. It turns out.
Yes.
But
All the
no,
time.
he was really sweet, and I don't know. It's been a long week in terms of just sort of not being able to go out and do stuff and getting groceries delivered.
Yep.
And like we stand out on the front porch and my husband laughs at me because people walk by and I'm like, hello, fellow human. You know, but the thing that has been much like this, the thing that's really kind of been keeping me sane is that I've been doing these co-working sessions every day with other people. And we have like a dozen of us, so we all just get together and we don't talk. Like we say what we're working on, and then we all go silent and we work together, and that's been really nice. So, holding steady, ready. I would like to. I don't know. I'd like to go out and be able to buy candy bars and stuff. I don't know. I'd like snacks because when you're getting groceries delivered, you know, you're like, oh, I forgot to buy the 6 bags of potato chips I would have normally bought had I been going to the store. So that's me. I'm babbling. Hello, people.
Who are you playing today, Kat?
Oh, I'm sorry. Petra Sinis, a much more coherent person with a very large hammer that sometimes is flaming or sparking.
Depending on the need.
Depending on the need.
And who has got some situations to deal with in terms of this guy and someone else next to him, this General Blatt. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Yeah, we drive by deliveries. I actually went today, and I had to get groceries. We had the groceries kind of assembled for us because they have a thing that they do that allows you to do that at this local Fairway. But we had to do this probably like, I don't know, 5-6 days ago to find an open spot for it.
Yeah.
So we just got through to do it, and I went to pick it up, and it was 16 bags. And I want to tell you, 16 bags. Now people are like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm feeding a family of 5 is what I'm doing. Like, it's not that it goes faster than you think. But even so, guys are like, oh, you're going to have to double park. I'm like, it's just me, my friend. I'm not going to be double parking. I'm going to be bringing this back to the car. So yeah, it's insane.
Do you know the trick to getting grocery deliveries I have found is you get the cart all filled out the night before and then you get up early in the morning and that's when you look for the delivery window.
Really?
There's my hint to everybody watching is this is how the only way I've been able to get orders.
That's interesting. I'll have to. Yeah, I know that because my mother-in-law did this particular order, but yeah, it's we'll see. The only thing we haven't had trouble with, ironically, is toilet paper because that of the pharmacy nearby us, like right down the corner, seems to have no problem. I don't know. Who knows? But other than that, I just
consider yourself lucky. Every place around here has kind of devolved into ridiculousness. There was even a fight reported at a local market where 2 women fought over a packet of toilet paper and ripped it apart. So to combat that, the price tag on it went from like $5 to $20 just so that would prevent the basic. And when you got to the register, then you found out that it was normal price.
I see.
Oh my God, that's like the wisdom of Solomon. I love that.
I thought you were going to say they split the toilet paper and then you take the roll.
Yeah, it was bad. So yeah, it's bad out there. Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, no, I other than living in the middle of the pandemic, I will consider myself lucky. It's like it's Carlos and I. Well, not Carlos. Carlos is currently escaped away from there, so it's just I'm the idiot who's still here. But anyway, But, what are you going to do? But anyway, but very glad to have Kat with us. Also very glad to have Carlos with us, although, as I say, not in the middle. Carlos is currently, waiting it out, waiting the slow-moving Armageddon out in a, I guess, I don't know, relatively comfortable environment. Carlos, would you say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm like the rich douchebag, right? Who can, leave New York and, I'll just go to my other house in fucking Arizona, and, just hang out here. Toilet paper plenty, like Claire's mom, she belongs to a toilet paper subscription service, so we are just like awash.
Please tell me this is true. Is any of that true?
there
is-
are those services, right?
She belongs to a subscription. This is brilliant.
No, not and she did it before the pandemic, before it was cool. She did it because like it's bamboo toilet paper, which is softer than you think it would be. You know, like you hear bamboo
toilet paper.
right, but I promise you, I am unchafed. So this is
Okay.
successful endeavor on her part. I moved away from the room with the clapper in it for this adventure.
This is the best.
I thought it was going to
Aw.
be a little too distracting, but this is also a house that has the clapper to turn on like lights and stuff. So it really is like a house that was kind of made for me.
It's nice. It is like this sort of, it's like as the seen done TV house. It feels like a little
Right.
bit like that it has all these aspects of things. I did want to say, since I was giving everyone credit for stuff, I don't know if we brought up this before, but I did want to mention that Carlos won or Sal and Gabby Break the Universe, more specifically, won the Pura Belpré. I'm probably horribly mispronouncing that. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's exactly right.
Okay, Pura Beaupre Illustrator Award and Author Award, which, and I'm going to quote from this, honors Latino authors and illustrators whose work best portrays, affirms, and celebrates the Latino cultural experience in children's books. And I can confirm, not the Latino experience, because I wouldn't speak to that. I could just confirm that it is an affirming and wonderful book, having read it to my daughter who loved it, as I've talked about before. So I don't know if I've talked about that publicly, but since I'm congratulating Kat, I want to congratulate you too, Carlos. Multiple congratulations on the amazing success of that. Yeah, no big deal. I mean, everyone thinks that I do this because I want the best players. Truly, I just want to be surrounded by the glory, by the glam, really, of the experience. And so that way I just get flanked by, voice actors, content creators, app designers, like, super tech, and then authors. Like that's my job, is to just be immersed in, the bling really of everything that gets represented.
As I was saying earlier, now just you have 1 degree of separation away from
I know.
LeVar Burton.
I'm
So your
this
plan is
close.
working.
This close. But no, seriously, congratulations, Carlos. How you doing otherwise?
I'm doing great. I just put in the link in the chat, the link to the story that LeVar Burton read of mine, in case people.
Damn it! I knew he read one of your.
Nice.
Wait,
Does
what?
he read everyone's but mine? You know what? Look, all right. Jeez.
Wait.
All of a sudden, Amal's going to be like, Arv, I saw you talking, and also, like, yes, I know. Everyone's story gets read.
You're picking up your groceries. Hey, did you hear?
LeVar, if you need a filler story, just so you know, I have a couple. All right, I have a few, just a few. Anyway.
Well, but mine was read in 2018, a while ago, and it's part of LeVar Burton's series that he mentioned right at the end of the podcast. And I don't want to step on Kat here because you're so great, but like this story that I did has a part where somebody is listening to a piano performance, and I listened to the piano performance as I was writing the scene so that it would kind of flow and end exactly. Like it's exactly the length of the piano piece. It's a Chopin piece, Fantasy Impromptu, C-sharp minor, Opus Posthumous. And when he read it, he had the copyright ability to actually get a performer to perform the piece, and it works perfectly. It aligns perfectly with that section, and it's the ideal way to get that story, because it does the thing that I could only kind of imagine and hope to evoke. So it really was like the perfect way to do it. I was super happy with it. So,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's anyway. I also want to say that Sal and Gabby Fix the Universe is coming out in less than a month, and so I'm going to be going on virtual tour this month.
Nice.
So yeah, on May 5th it releases, and amidst all the pandemic, I'm going to do like a radio / online tour that supersedes the tour that I was going to do. And so I'll have more information about like that sort of stuff, but it should be fun. I think they're trying to set me up in cool kind of venues and stuff like that. So that's me for the next month or so, preparing for that.
That's good stuff, man. I have to make sure that I go. I have not yet had a chance because things have been so crazy to pre-order it, but obviously I'm going to be reading it immediately. So you bought Icarus, and you can read it for me. Thank you, Genli. I am most grateful that you can do that. Listen, the Icarus art has been spectacular, so I'm very happy with that. But that's really awesome, Carlos. I cannot wait to get that book and read it. Read that too to my daughter, and I'm glad to hear that the virtual tour will be handled well. And I did want to ask who you're playing tonight.
Yeah, so I am playing Ludicrous Sleepwell, who had a bit of a fritz out moment there at the last time when he was just getting kind of overwhelmed, and so I will be very curious to see how he reacts today to violence and carnage and mayhem that is incoming.
As am I. I cannot wait to see that either. Yeah, the all before the players have just been kind of like, so in this fight that's going to come, General Blatt, in this fight, because they're all like, and then they were also like, and I think it was Kat who said something to the effect of on Twitter, I feel like General Blatt's the kind of person that if was defeated might lead to leveling up. I think that might be, and all my players are like, yeah, I think that seems like a reasonable thing to. I'm like, I'm glad you're all having this discussion. That's this is good aspirational play that I admire, and but anyway, it's a great pleasure to have Carlos with us. It's also a pleasure, of course, as always, to have our good friend Zach Clay with us. Zach, how you doing? You had anything read by LeVar lately? Any LeVar Burton stories read by? No. No.
I wish, but that that was actually what I think that was the first work of yours that I have listened to or read, and which is rather surprising given that half of the cast on this show is writers and English professors and English people. I don't know what Johnny's doing. Johnny's got to get into the. Johnny's not doing anything with English, but we're all English people here.
Yeah.
But that was amazing, and for me, of course, I watched Star Trek: The Next Generation and the original generation with my dad. So I have very fond memories of Star Trek, and therefore very fond memories of LeVar Burton, and also I was very fortunate in my 8th grade history class. They don't start history. They didn't start history at my middle school until you got into 8th grade. And we had a teacher, my history teacher. She was the only one that thought it necessary at 8th grade to show the entire class, every one of her classes, roots.
Oh, yeah.
I will forever thank her for.
Wow, nice.
So that was another big link. So seeing Kat having her work read by, of course, and I'm not even mentioning Reading Rainbow, which Arv had mentioned that he had never. I
just missed it.
I didn't either. It looked like it was mostly in in the 80s and it stopped in 2006. But anyway, really good. And I always know that a story has a big impact on me when I'm thinking. I was thinking back on it in the following seconds after he finished, the following minutes, and I started realizing little things and little connections you had made, and my brain put together an extra significance in the ending with her flying in the bed and how. So I was like, oh, that was good. That was really good. So, but anyway, so congrats, Kat. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
And hopefully this means by osmosis, all of us will somehow get our stuff read by LeVar Burton now.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll just get right on that.
And then obviously the next step will be getting him to come on the show and play an Esper Genesis character.
If I ever got him, I swear to God, I would just fire him up as an NPC. I'd wait for everyone's jaws to drop, and I'd be like, "Thank you," and I'm out. I'm just like,
yes. The first time that Carlos came in,
forever.
The first time that Carlos came in, I forget who was the one that discovered Sleepwell in the game. I think it was me, but I was in the engineering room, or someone was. And then you were just describing this, and because of the way the Zoom call was organized and I had it on my screen, I still only saw, you, me, Kat, and Johnny. And then Greg, you were like, okay, and then all of a sudden Carlos just showed up, and I was like, who is this guy? So it would be like that.
For every response I got like that in my life.
But yeah, anyway, on the topic of how I'm doing pretty good. I'm keeping myself busy with content creation, and someone on Twitter made a very good analogy that I've been taking in, because I like creating stuff just like all of us do. And they made the analogy because they were kind of like beating themselves down because they felt like they weren't being extremely efficient because they weren't producing content every day that this pandemic is going on. It's like they have no excuse. What is up? What's going on? But the analogy that they found that helped them was that they're being creative is like a sponge, in that you have to intake a lot of stuff like a sponge intakes water. And then all of a sudden, when you get the inspiration, you squeeze it all out at once, which is often how I work. I get this sudden inspiration to do something, and been watching a lot of John Burkow, who was the former House Speaker
of the House,
Parliament.
Yep.
Great, super charismatic guy. But yeah, so I'm coping. I'm finding new things. I'm intaking things as a sponge, and then just figuring out the right way to then squeeze out the creative juice, I guess.
Good stuff. And when doing that in this context, who do you play as the expression of said creative juice, so to speak?
This creative juice is sponsored by Alligator Alley. No,
I was going to say, is brought to you directly by Alligator Alley Entertainment, who told us to do this.
I am playing Cosmoritis, who is a Bolare, which is a star being or star boy, and I am a hunter with a sniper built into its suit, and we're about to fight a very important general whose name might rhyme with ephemeral fat.
Yes, I hadn't thought about that, but that's true.
Yes,
these are true things. It's always a pleasure, of course, to have Zach with us. Really happy to have the full crew. And yeah, let us, as I fire up our music here. There we go. As I fire up our music, let's get into what this was. I do want to mention before we get started that before we even begin, the players have been inspired. So we got inspirations from, let's see, I believe Kaz has been inspired. I don't remember who did that, though. I do remember that Rock God used his third special inspiration, which, in case people are wondering, this is because of having provided something for me when he designed my band's third album. And he designed the cover design and all that stuff, because Rock God is an incredibly gifted performer, which I want to bring up something else related to that. It's an incredibly gifted photographer, and so he also is a musician and a guy who loves music, and so he's done the live photo shoots for my band in the past, and he did a bunch of stuff with their album. So one of the things for payment was a couple of these extra special inspirations. So he has given one of those inspirations to Aramis, and then Kaz has been inspired. I don't remember who inspired him, but if chat could remind me, that would be great. So one other thing I wanted to note quickly, and this is also for my players, I'll be talking more with them about this. This is our first of 2 sessions this month, but I want to mention that next month, May, is going to be the month for our charity convention, ArvCon, which we hold every year. Now, this convention has made over just about $10,000 over the last 4 years for the Damien Runyon Cancer Research Foundation, and usually has a variety of companies that provide codes, harebrained schemes, and in the past, the Obsidian and other various designers from all over the place have been kind enough to give us codes. Rock God has given us this gorgeous photograph for the top donator. Kerflop makes custom design stuff, custom clocks and pens, which he has made, contributed to this. So there's a lot of amazing stuff that comes out of it. And this year, we are changing up the people who are benefiting from it just for this year. Damien Runyon Cancer Research is very important to me because my mother passed away from cancer, and my many family members, dog, I've had a lot of personal impacts from it, and a lot of people in the community have as well. But this year, because of course, as we talked about last time, Kilobyte, Scott Grigg, passed away at the age of 39 from complications due to diabetes. So we have decided to make ArvCon benefit diabetes research this year. So I'll be making my final decision on which charity it's going to be benefiting. I have a couple of possibilities, but in any case, this is going to be what we're benefiting this year. So that's going to be coming up in late May, and we will have, I hope, all of my tabletop players will hopefully be doing a session on one mega weekend of basically tabletop play, along with a lot of giveaways and sort of exciting moments and stuff like that. So I do want everyone to mark their calendars for that. And if you are big Esper Genesis fans and are like, where do I get more of that? I'm hoping for a couple of really big things to happen during ArvCon, including one that might be connected to Esper Genesis. So, since they are sponsored by the amazing Alligator Rally Entertainment, AAE has been kind enough to give us stuff to give away in the past as well. So, in any case, all of that is going to be happening in May, so mark your calendars for that. And I did want to mention to the players, just sort of put them on notice that I'll be coming to talk to them about how we can coordinate that for late May in terms of scheduling and the like. So I'm letting them know about that. So with that said, Coven Guy was the one who inspired you. Okay, so you have one remaining special inspiration left, Rock God. All right. I have this image that Rock God just has that chambered and ready when I'm like, and then the enormous creature comes forward with his mega rifle, and you're like, wow, bam, inspiration. And I'm like, okay, well played, Rock God. It was a very long play to come to this moment. All right, let us do the recap, folks. In day 40, in episode 40 of Esper Genesis Viral Fallout, the party, as Carlos made reference to at the beginning, the party had reached almost the end of its collective rope, in that the party has gone through this burned out area of old Earth known as Sector 77 in the search for a transmitter of a deadly cyber virus called the Long Winter. They've had run-ins with this before, and not only are there personal connections for many of their characters being potentially infected by it or knowing creatures that are infected by it, and in some cases having perhaps a personal connection to artificial intelligence in a way they don't fully understand, in the case of Petra, for example. So there are personal reasons for all of them, and of course personal tensions. Sleepwell and Aramis have had some issues, I think it's fair to say, over time, and other examples like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so the party found all of these sort of brought to a head. They managed to get through Sector 77, over the bridge by speaking to a strange old bridgekeeper known as Bastion and his large mega mech, Otis. They managed to negotiate with him and got over the bridge so that they could get into this gang here, which is the Roaches and the Roach Citadel, from where this transmission of this cyber virus seems to be coming. They got into this, I say got into kind of euphemistically, because really what they did was they just blew the hell out of the front door by the means of a portable black hole, which Kaz happened to use, entered, explored the area, found a lot of strange things there, including some AI that acted strangely, some people that acted very strangely, some people that were sort of afraid of them, some people that ran away, got into a couple of little fights as well, and then found that their own AI creatures, their own constructs, for example, like Sleepwells, were beginning to collapse and fall apart. And during our last session, they also found that a firefight was going on between the Outcast Union, which is the rival gang for the Roaches here in Sector 77, and the Roaches themselves. Moreover, when they went to sort of track down what it was that happened, and they went into Bastion's little hut, they found that Bastion had been shot at point-blank range by a laser, and also found that the AI that they had left behind, this med robot, whose name I've now forgotten because Kellen...
7-5.
7-5.
7-5. So, 7-5 was there.
Saren 5.
Saren 5, that's what it is. I was like, that's not quite right. Yes, Saren 5. That Saren 5 had been found pretty much like essentially ripped to shreds, or just about ripped to shreds, with a laser pistol in its hand. And so the party managed to pull what was left of it and also Bastion out into onto the ground, out of the hut, which was a good thing because that was shortly before the hut itself exploded and blew up from some kind of strange overload that was happening within it. And so the party decided the only way this madness ends, the only way that this stops, is if we go and stop the Long Winter from transmitting whatever it's transmitting. And so they went back to the Roach Citadel, and this time headed south. And in the southernmost, or I guess not south, it's east, right? On this map, south is left. So yes, east would be down. So in the easternmost area of the Roach Citadel, they discovered an area which currently has a bunch of overturned desks and things like that. And they had found what at least Aramis thought would be a reasonable disguise, which was to go in dressed up as a character, Chef Boyardee, I'm just joking, but this cook that they had found in the westernmost room of the Roach Citadel. And so he went in to see if he could sort of gather some information, maybe throw them off, and found that they were apparently waiting for him. And the two figures that they confronted, and I'm going to pull up the picture right now, the two figures that they confronted were... Let me see if I have that picture right here. Yes. Okay, the two ones that they confronted were right here on stream. And then someone who is right next to him as well, who seems to be dressed much more traditionally, I guess you might say. And let me just find the description of her. There we go. Yes, basically this woman who is next to him has got basically has no helmet, is sort of wearing somewhat similar armor, I guess, to Blatt, except much more run down and kind of broken and ripped. Looks much more in line with sort of the rest of the roaches, and is dark of skin, dark of face, curly hair, and is kind of looking over next to him as this figure with this incredible looking armor that you see sort of rose very dramatically and said from behind the mask, welcome, and then something to the effect of made some other dramatic I'm the bad guy statements, and then finished by saying something to the effect of welcome to Roach Citadel. And that was where we ended things at the end of our last session. And so as we open up today, wasn't he hired like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, sort of. Yeah, he was basically not one of them. You got the impression that he was just sort of along for the ride, not part of the usual process. And you may remember that I think it was Aramis sent him back and was like, oh, we could use a chef, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
No, exactly.
And everyone else was like,
we were hiring him.
Really?
We
I mean, like...
Yes, we're totally hiring this guy.
Just...
But...
Yeah, so that's where we're at. So as I hand things back over to the party, we see Aramis in front. We see Kaz a few feet back of him. We see Sleepwell right at the door. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Petra had actually come through to the door. But correct me if I'm wrong, Petra. I think this is where you were. And you have, of course, the Matakai that are right behind you, sort of waiting for what's going to happen next. And I will now hand things back over to the party. What would you like to do? So he's made this pronouncement, welcome to the Roach Citadel. He's just standing facing you, and you can see that he's got, you can see what he looks like right there. He actually has a laser pistol, but the laser pistol right now is aimed at you. Whoever's sitting next to him, the woman next to him, does absolutely have a laser rifle actually pointed at you. But he is carrying these sort of dual, they almost look like a sword and some kind of a bow staff, might be the best way to describe it. But both sword and bow staff are glinting and sparking as if they are energetically charged. What would the party like to do?
Hey, boss. What are you doing?
So he sort of stares at you and he says, "That's a good question. I'd like to ask you that. You seem to have commandeered my cook's outfit."
Commandeered nothing. I'm here to deliver food. I mean, it's and Aramis kind of like looks at the the invisible watch on his left arm.
As Aramis is talking, I'm kind of hugging the wall, and
okay.
As he's keeping him distracted, I turn around and just quietly gesture for the others in our party to come closer, please.
Okay.
And so I start doing that, and I'm gesturing back to Kaz to aim his black hole opener at that guy. In the way that you can gesture such a thing. Right.
Okay. Noting, of course, that Aramis is awfully close for the black hole creator. I just want to be clear.
I just tell him to aim. I didn't say pull the trigger.
And fire.
I've got advantage. I mean, I've got inspiration. I'm good.
Got inspiration.
Yeah,
why not?
I'll
It's
inspiration
time
for
for
my accuracy.
I've always wondered what a singularity would be like. So let's just.
mean, it would just be like another bad hangover for Aramis. Really.
Yeah, sure would. Okay, so he does that, and assuming that all of you agree to do that, you could, agree to listen to him. You can do that. The behind you, Petra, you can hear that Layden, the Matakai commander, kind of whispers, "What the hell in the front is he doing?" I can't hear you. You've got to stop whispering.
Sorry about that. I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear him and just keep moving up, kind of keeping pace with Sleepwell.
Okay. So she actually the commander. She follow. She sort of, you hear her, and just kind of follows you as you go down a little bit. Okay. There's that. What else, Sleepwell?
So Sleepwell still has that extremely interesting device that was supposed to call in the cavalry that may be in a firefight as we speak right now.
Oh yeah.
So this would be a great time to activate it if he is able to do such a thing. So he's looking for a means to activate this thing.
Okay. Yes. Let me.
Very nice, Sleepwell.
Yeah. Let me go down and double check on this too. Because I want to remember.
Wasn't Aramis the one who was critical of letting Sleepwell even hold the thing?
Hey, this is
Look.
the player. There's a difference between
Exactly. I'm all behind Sleepwell 100%, even though Aramis just really can't stand the kid right now. So
Johnny is great. Johnny understands.
Oh yeah. There's no question of that.
I like Johnny. I don't like that Aramis.
Yeah, that Aramis.
yeah, you know what? Somebody's got to be that guy.
Very true. Very true.
There's something about love the sinner, hate the sin. Is love the player, hate the.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, and I'm actually double checking about. Do you remember where you got this special item? Because I'm looking at I have
From the bartender.
It was
From the
the
bartender.
Oh,
The
that's
bartender
right.
Gave it to Aramis.
That's
Aramis
right. That's right.
Gave it to me because that was hilarious. I guess I don't remember.
That's right. I remember. Yes. Yes. This is what
Because
Jolene.
I was pissed at Kaz because Kaz decided to tell Sleepwell that what was going on, and it was like, God damn it,
Kaz didn't think it was a big deal.
Yes, I remember what this is now. Okay, so you're looking for a place to activate this. So now, from the way that it looks like to you, this thing basically looks kind of like the way you would describe it is sort of like a cred stick, except that it has two like little antenna that are coming off of the top of it, both left and right. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm sorry, I'm scaring your cat, Genly. It's not me. It's General Blatt. You have to blame him. I'm just the messenger. But there are these two antennas coming off of this what looks like a cred stick. But otherwise, it looks like it would just theoretically plug into a terminal. Now, the problem now is that you do think there are terminals. I mean, you can't see. I shouldn't say that. You can't really see that. But let's just say you see a glinting of what looks like it might be a terminal in the room where Aramis is standing right now, ahead of you, basically about, I guess that's 30, 40 feet ahead. So you can see what look like might be the glow of terminals, but right where you are, you just have doors to your left and right, but no obvious terminals to plug this thing into.
Do the doors have any signage on them?
They do not. I believe what you did as you were walking down last session, though, was I believe one of you, might have been Aramis, was knocking on them. And not getting a response. But you didn't try to open them, you just knocked on them.
I'm going to just open the one that's closest to me right now. Right here.
Okay. So...
Just very quietly,
Okay. It screeches open. I'm kidding. Yeah, that's exactly what it does.
It says, welcome, Ludico Sleepwell.
It's the wallet from The Hobbit. Oi, what you about? So you okay. So when you open this, well, this is amazing thought process that you had here, because as you open this, you see actually two very large data terminals here. They are not currently on, like the screens are dark, but there are definitely screen terminals that you can see, large ones right here.
Well, aren't I brilliant? I am going
Yeah.
to tiptoe into this room.
There's also a door to the, not the south, the east of that room. But as you tiptoe in, you can see one terminal is up here and one terminal is here. And they both seem to be dark.
Yeah, I'm looking for on switches.
Okay. I'm just going to say one last thing to you as you're looking for on switches. You notice that under one of these terminals, they're basically on top of these desks, right? So under one of the desks is a bedroll, an unrolled bedroll.
An unrolled bedroll. Okay. First, I'm just going to look for on switches.
Okay. As you are looking for, I know mostly what that is, by the way, Johnny. I think I know mostly what it does.
Okay, cool, thanks.
So, as you're looking for on switches, General Blatt sort of stares down the hallway, or at least you're assuming he is. He's got that faceplate on. But he sort of looks and says,
"All right. Done a pretty good job of wrecking much of my place. And I've got to say I'm impressed from what I've seen. Most people wouldn't have had the stones to actually even come here in the first place, let alone fight through everything, let alone deal with that old jackass and his mech back there. Not that he'll be much of a threat now. So I've got to say, normally, someone did what you did, I would have killed them on the spot, without having a discussion. But I actually like what I've seen. I think that we could perhaps come to some arrangement."
So that's a no on SpaghettiOs?
and he just sort of stares at you impassively and makes no reply. It could be that he's giggling wildly underneath his mask, as I've begun to learn all too well. It's amazing how many things you can, how many facial expressions you can make at people under masks, and they'll never know. But you have no idea.
Can I roll perception or something to see if he's like jiggling back?
You can make an insight check if you want. If you want from me, I'll take that.
I would love to.
Oh my god.
You notice eyes flashing on and off. Turn on that dice roller.
How about a 16?
I mean, he certainly doesn't make any noise, and you don't see apparent his stomach laughed like a bowl full of jelly. I mean, you're not getting any Santa Claus reaction here.
Okay.
He does not seem amused, or particularly persuaded that you are who you claim to be.
I would like to, Kaz doesn't step forward yet, but I'd like to use my scope to case the room a little bit from a distance, because I know we can see Blatt, we can see the other, the woman.
Yep.
I'd like to see if I could spot if there's anyone else, and or if there's anything, any electronic device or explosive fuel tank or anything, of particular interest nearby.
Right. And this is mostly picking up heat signatures, right? We talked about.
Well, I was just gonna, from the vantage point of the hallway.
Okay, you're not doing your thing, your special.
I mean, sure, I'll do it.
Well, I wasn't trying to convince you to do that. I was just asking because last time in the hut you were using the visor for like predator vision.
No, I just plan to just look through my scope a little bit, but also I could turn on the infrared vision, but it only works the best if the area that I'm looking at is dark, which
definitely not
lit.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
All right. So, as you make a perception check for me, please.
Okie dokie. 15.
Yeah, you don't think that there's anything obvious here. There's obviously a power to this room. There's obviously lots of, you can see from the glow of the terminal screens around here that there's definitely some things have been powered up for sure. But you don't notice any obvious like explosive device or any energy tank or anything like that. Of course, you see the rather large laser rifle being leveled at Aramis right now by the other person, by the woman there behind the desk. And you can see that Blatt is wearing what is obviously combat grade armor. This is something which, Kaz, you would know this as a mercenary of some long standing.
Yeah.
No gang member wears this. Like, at least not under normal circumstances. Everyone you've seen down here has looked more or less, the leather jackets, like a couple of helmets here and some spare bits of shoulder armor there. But, like, nothing of it's all kind of catch as catch can and kind of haphazard, right? This is not that way. This thing looks to be in great condition, in great shape. It looks fairly new and
Perhaps
clearly
as if
mil
it's never
spec.
been used.
This is military spec. Like,
All right.
this is not anything that you've seen anyone else with here. Now, he calls himself general, but this is a cut above. But as far as other stuff around the room, not so much.
And they're both wearing this military grade thing, except the woman's is a bit more beaten up.
Hers is much more beaten up though. Like, and she doesn't have a helmet, and it looks almost like kind of like secondhand, like sort of Fisher Price, my first military spec equipment.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad, but it is definitely kind of run down and broken down. If you had seen him wearing this, maybe you could have thought, oh yeah, like he got to be where he was and he sort of harvested all the best armor from his minions and whatever. But that's not what he has is impossible. What she has, maybe, not what he has.
Yeah. All right. I don't step forward. I lower my scope and just wait.
Okay. Petra, are you doing anything other than slowly moving forward as you can hear this? Because he's kind of, you can see Blatt now, and you can see him kind of looking, but it's unclear what he's looking at. Could be you, could be Aramis, or Kaz for that matter.
I am going to continue moving up unless I see him looking directly at me, at which point I will kind of freeze in place.
Okay, so I would say that you move probably close to even with Kaz, at which point, and I'll come back to you, I haven't forgotten about you, Sleepwell, I'll come back to you in a second, at which point he says,
I see that you've brought more than just yourself to join in your festivities. A couple of Matakai, too. I'm impressed. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, I see we're missing the cat. Well, we'll have to bring him along at some point. But you've got a good group here. 6 of you, I count, I think. And, a few of the extra constructs, too. That's a pretty small crew to make it all the way through Sector 77, past some of the Kanasi you must have dealt with, plus my people, even the Outcast Union's people. I'm impressed. I don't suppose you're one of Jalene's favorites, are you? She didn't somehow figure out a way to come into some extra creds and decided she would send someone over my way, did she?
he seems to be saying this to, like, presumably you, Aramis, but, I mean, any of you could theoretically answer. Except for Sleepwell, who's in the other room.
She liked my SpaghettiOs, but, you hired me, so, I'm here.
He sort of shakes his head slowly, and he says,
What about you, Mr. Roboto?
And he kind of stares at you, Kaz.
And I reply, so you're saying you don't know who we are?
I know you're the people who've wrecked a bunch of my house. I know that you're not to be trifled with, but then neither am I.
Well, I get the urge to move forward, but I also remember that that's a bad idea, so I don't.
Okay.
And I say, we came for several things, but the first thing that I want in particular is answers. What is the long winter, and what do you have to do with it?
There's kind of a long exhalation through his mask.
Straight to the point, I see. I like that. I like not making things up.
And he kind of his helmet tilts ever so imperceptibly towards you, Aramis, and then tilts back towards you, Kaz. And he says,
Before I answer questions, I think it's important that we set some ground rules here. Since you did destroy much of my facility, I assume you're not here for a friendly talk.
I don't answer him.
We
I'd-
can do a friendly talk.
Ah, and he apparently either sees you for the first time or takes note. He kind of looks, his helmet tilts up a little bit, Petra, and he says,
So, 2 Ashen Forged in one group. It's been a while since I've seen one, to be honest. I'm glad
Hey,
to
now
know
that's
that
a
we're all-
pretty trick. How'd you do that?
and he kind of again almost the helmet tilts imperceptibly, and then he looks back at you. Apparently looks at you, Petra, and he says,
Is this your court jester you bring around from place to place to have fun? Or does he do things other than pretend to be employees of mine?
seems to be asking you, Petra, but I don't know.
He is a very talented cook. That's
And-
all. That's what I say very dryly. He is a talented cook.
I can boil an egg, I swear.
And he nods and he says, and I haven't forgotten, Sleeple, just about. I'll be right there. He says,
I've been interested in this group. Ever since you came into the sector, I've had my people watching you. As you made your way over, I had some of them try to stop you, without success. So I got more interested. And I thought I'd do a little bit of research, just in case. I found out some very interesting things. Very interesting things about all of you. You have some, history with this long winter you asked me about.
We do.
I don't blame you for being concerned. It's quite dangerous. Very risky. Who knows what could happen if it got outside of proper controls. Fortunately, I've got everything under control myself. So the only real variable for me is all of you. I haven't been able to figure out why you would take this risk. I'm assuming it wasn't Jeline. So who sent you? Why would you come all the way here to this broken down piece of nothing on the end of the Silrain Arc and try to find your way to me and this little piece of... And he kind of stops and then chuckles. This piece of magic I happen to possess.
Magic is that?
and he holds out his hand as if he's pointing towards, I guess it was Kaz who brought this up first. And he points at him and he says,
What your friend there, Mr. Roboto back there, said. This long winter. I find it interesting you know it by name. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, though. Should I, Mr. Cosmeritis? I suppose someone like you, on the run from the Eos Keldor, I believe, is where it all started, isn't it? Someone like you probably has a lot to hide. I imagine you wouldn't want anyone to know what it is that got you on that ship in the first place. Would you, Mr. Roboto?
I turn around after hearing that and gesture for Kratos to come towards me.
and Kratos does, like, looking as even more sour than usual, if that's possible, at all of this. Okay.
And I hand him the gravity gun.
He takes it kind of like, and gives you this sort of, like,
I've got a bad feeling. And I turn around back to General Blatt. Enough about my past. You asked us why we came here. As far as I'm aware, this is the only place left in the galaxy that's still broadcasting a signal for that incredibly murderous AI of yours. So, You probably understand. Oh, but you don't know our history with the Long Winter. You heard when we entered your sector and you had people trail us, but you don't actually know who we are or what we're doing, is what you're saying.
There are some gaps in my knowledge, yes.
Well, you mentioned something about making an arrangement. What would be the conditions for that? You understand our hesitation for volunteering information, as you probably are also experiencing right now.
Oh, of course. I'm not actually looking for information from you, although if you were to tell me why you came all this way, you'd satisfy my curiosity. No, the arrangement I was thinking about involves something more direct. You see, you've done a very good job at taking out a lot of my people. And frankly, I need people to keep things going. You know, they say a business is only as strong as the employees that work for it. Kill the employees, where's your business? So I need more to replace the ones that I've lost. And frankly, I'm planning to step up the operation a little bit. Well, that's where you come in. Here you come, bravely, courageously, right into the middle of the Citadel, blow up the front half of it with God knows what, perhaps that little beauty right there. His kind of helmet goes up towards the gun, which is now being held by Kratos. And he says, perhaps something like that. But either way, you managed to blow through my facilities and most of my defenses. So, I know that you've got guts, and you've got strength. And once I got a chance to do a little bit of an info trace on you, you've also got a history. Now that's a good combination for me. Guts, ability, and history. I like that combination. So my arrangement involves you working for me. We can have a discussion about this long winter thing that you're referring to. Perhaps we can come to some mutual understanding. But we're only going to do it if we're working on the same side. If not, no reason for me to talk to the enemy if the enemy's planning on trying to blow me up anyway, right?
Now, as you're thinking about your response to that, sleep well. You have found underneath one of these terminals a power, basically like a little power switch or lever. It looks though like it looks. I mean, so you can turn it on. Let me say that first. You could turn it on if you wish.
So is this near the bedroll?
Yes. The bedroll. So basically, the bedroll, the unrolled bedroll, is underneath this, and the terminal you were looking at is this one. So, but the bedroll is here.
So, since I'm under there anyway, I'm just going to quickly rifle through the bedroll and just see what there is to see.
All you see there is what looks like one maybe cred stick. There's a pack of these white, it's like a kind of a plastic and paper pack of these small little white sticks that almost look like half the size of a pen. And they have like this kind of whiff of some leaf that you don't remember, some plant or something like that. And on the front, you realize that the front box just says Marl Buh, and then is cut off, and like the front of it is rubbed out past that.
Huh. So, I mean, I smell this and instantly I'm like, must be some putrid, earthling habit from way back when.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at the camera and say, don't smoke, kids. Throw cigarettes aside.
The more you know.
Right. And then I grab the cred stick and I say, save money, kids, and stick that in my pocket. And then I'm going to try to activate the terminal.
Okay. So when you flip on the terminal, the screen comes up, but the screen just looks like an disconnected computer monitor at the moment, if you follow what I mean. So it's clearly on, there's power, but it's not showing anything on the screen as of yet.
It's not connected to a mainframe or a hard drive or something. So, I'm pretty good with this sort of stuff. I try to find the connections here.
Okay. Make me a computer's check, please.
Okay. So, dice. Just a 9.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to quite. You're just kind of like fiddle with it, and you a couple times you think you might be sort of close to it, but it looks like basically what's happened is that there are these cables running back in the wall, and there's a whole array of them. But it looks like this has been disconnected some time ago from whatever the actual cable is. Clearly the power cable is still working, but whatever the network cable is does not seem to be sort of wired into it, and you can't quite find what the network cable is, at least not yet.
So at this point, Siebel has a personal computer with him that he's used to like log on to things before and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He takes it out. He's going to say like, maybe this will work in my own computer and I can broadcast with it.
Okay. So I'm going to have you make another computers check at +2. We're going to see if you can kind of basically hook this into that, if I understand what you're asking, more or less. Is that what you're doing, basically?
Yeah. Basically, I want to use my computer to connect it here.
Okay, sounds good. And yes, Dragon, is it a Cat 7? Dragon Spear is modern, like in-person, real-life IT experience coming to the fore.
So, Cat 7. I'm just making a decision right now very quickly. I'm probably going to need luck later.
Whether to pull, time's come to use.
Yeah. All right, I'm just going to roll it straight. That puts me at a 20.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, you fire it up, and as you manage to hook it in, there's a moment where you get a kind of flash of the screen, and then you get this sort of weird kind of glitching on the screen, which basically you're pretty confident that this is like someone's pathetic attempt at a firewall, but you're kind of like, come on, like what? And you know, after a few like carefully drawn keystrokes, you're just like clear. You just take this with no problem. You get around it with no problem. And you find yourself into kind of the mainframe. Very haphazard, almost as if whoever was sort of blocking this was doing it quickly without an expectation that anyone was really going to try to access anything through this. And so now you are looking at basically the terminal itself. So you have a blinking cursor. You've got essentially kind of just like a directory page. But that's pretty much it. There's no graphical user interface here. There's nothing else that you're really looking at, but it definitely is connected now to the network some way or another, whatever this network is.
Well, since we're going for like full 80s this episode, I'm going to crack my knuckles and put in some DOS command lines.
Hell yeah. Can I get a format C colon?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, not. I do not format C colon
Okay.
DM. Instead, I am going to do what I need to do to first try to activate this drive that I have jammed into my computer, and then I'm going to take a look around in the directory and stuff. You know, I'll go exploring and spelunking later, but first, basically, I want to make the card that we were given do its magic.
When you plug in the card first to try to make that happen, the directory, you're looking at the kind of, you know, the blinking cursor. You plug that in, write a couple of commands, and then the thing kind of goes zzz, 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 and then you hear something from somewhere goes, protocol activated, arrival in 3 minutes, and you hear this thing start to count down, and the terminals all in the room all at once kind of blank out and then just show this timer counting down.
So yeah, so basically at this point I'm just gonna peek my head out of the door and just look at whoever's looking at me and just go, keep it going, 3 minutes. You know? And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna see if I can find anything in the directory.
Okay. You're able to do that first thing, but the second thing, you seem to be locked out. Since we're talking 80s, I would ask you to remember the moment where you're trying to get back into Whopper, and it's like, you know, I can't, the changes are locked out. I can't get in any other way. You seem to be locked out. All you're getting is just the timer, which is counting down.
Huh. Okay. Well, shit. I am going to carefully set my computer down so as not to damage it, leave it on the counter,
Okay.
and then, you know, take out my electro bar and kind of have it at the ready. But I'm going to kind of be peeking around the corner and seeing what's happening and watching the action unfold.
Okay. Aramis, just a little moment ago, maybe, I don't know, 25, 30 seconds ago, you saw the terminals around you kind of blink and glitch, and then this number pops up, which looks like a countdown timer, and going from 3 down 259, 258, 257, etc., and counts down. And as you're sort of looking at that, Blatt sort of turns his head and says,
Ah, I see someone's decided to hack into my system. See, this is the kind of thing I need from you. I'll deal with that in just a moment, but before I do, I'd like it if we could get an answer to our arrangement that I talked about. Of course, we can work out the details, but more or less what I want to make sure now is that we don't have any further hostilities. If you folks work for me, I'm going to make it A, worth your while, and B, even perhaps give you more or less what you want. I can probably make it so the long winter won't be a threat anymore. But before that happens, I need to know that I've got you on my side first.
Turn the magic off and we're yours.
I appreciate the thought process, but that's...
Turn the magic off or this is not going to go well. Your pretty little suit is not going to make any difference.
Oh, I see we've dropped the Chef Boyardee routine. Good. It's good to know that we can have a nice one-on-one conversation, Aramis, also on the Eos Keldor. I imagine that when you found yourself on that ship with Cosmoritis and with Petrosinis right behind you, I imagine that all of you weren't sure, never thought that you'd perhaps end up here. And yet, here you are.
So as this conversation is going on, I'm going to take an action and alter my form again, because this is a concentration ability. I'm going to shift from changing my appearance to giving myself clawed hands.
Okay. So you do that. Are you changing anything else about your appearance besides that? Like, are you just Chef Boyardee with clawed hands? I guess.
So I'm shifting back to my own form.
Okay.
Oh,
Spaghetti-o this. All right.
And as that happens, as the sort of the image or the facade of Chef Boyardee kind of disappears, like the entire form just kind of reforms around to just being Aramis, but instead his hands are incredibly angular, they're bony, they're articulated in really interesting ways, and at the end of them are incredibly sharp claws. Sleepo, don't get jealous.
Nicola is officially jealous.
Okay. So
And
all right, go ahead.
I'm not joking. You want us to work for you? That's fine. I don't have any particular loyalties to any particular group that we have spent any time with right now. Long winter has to stop, though. Shut your magic down.
He says, well, the thing about that, if I shut down Long Winter right now without a further discussion, I'm afraid the problems could be catastrophic. For example, to your Mr. Roboto back there. How have you been handling things lately, Cosmoritis? Have you felt any strange surges? Any electricity surging through your armor? Perhaps you felt a little off. I ask this because I've heard things, you see, and the Long Winter is very keen to tell me more. So if I shut things down, Aramis, the knowledge that I have means that I could very well be shutting down your friend. And if any of the rest of you happen to have been connected to Long Winter, well, I don't know what the effect would be if you suddenly removed their, what did they used to call it? God from them.
Kaz, do you have a shot?
Do you just turn around and say that?
No, I don't turn around. Do you have a shot, Kaz?
Do I?
Well, actually, I should put their tokens up. I'm sorry I didn't do that already. Let me put that up there. Second, while I pull these up. Okay. So we've got this guy. That's actual size. No.
Jesus!
Well, crap. No.
When did this become an old school WoW raid
I
boss?
was gonna say, suddenly Final Fantasy VII remake. Okay, there's one, and then the other one is where we go. Where's my guy? Nope. Here we go. So I'm gonna shrink that down to more rational size. Still a fairly imposing looking figure though. So he's over here to your left, Aramis. To your right is the woman holding the laser rifle. And Kaz, I would say that you probably have a shot if you really hug this wall. It'll be a little... Aramis might feel a touch of singe as the shot goes by you, but you think you've got a shot on him.
He's the one on the right?
Yeah. This is the big dude. The woman is here.
Okay. Well, if that's your question, I think my answer would be to shoot.
Okay. All right. And
rather than giving him a chance, rather than saying yes, and then he's like, "Oh, shields up."
Fair enough.
So yeah, I'll go for a shot, I guess.
Okay. So I will let you get in one of these shots.
Be a good time for an inspiration.
Indeed.
Well, he has
you have one.
He has
He
one.
or he has one, rather, I should say.
He also
I'm
should
gonna
probably
save it.
use the big black hole bullet
Black
gun
hole
thing.
gun.
Well,
Yeah.
so
I gave it to Kratos because
yeah.
I was afraid. So this is just gonna be because I have a feeling the moment I turn around to try to get the black hole gun and then fire it, I will be in a instant contest. That's the moment that General Blatt pulls out the big red button from behind his suit and presses it. So I'm taking it easy.
Okay. Just get
And the gun, the black hole gun, is loaded, and I had it out. So Kratos, as long as he can figure out how to hold down a trigger, assuming that's how it works, as long as you don't have to do calculus in order to fire.
No, it's not so much that. You may not have told him. No. Sorry. You may not have told him exactly how it works, but I mean, it's probably a pretty good bet that you would know the basics. Sorry. I just
We
wanna
need,
find
like, Star Trek music, where like right now it'd be like suddenly it would go into battle music, it'd be dun 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 dun. That's it.
Kat, you said it a little bit like Mortal Kombat, I have to say. That wasn't quite clear.
Get over here. All right. So I'm trying to
Or Peter Gun, yeah, that's appropriate.
exactly. I'm trying to find my. For some reason, my PDF is not. It's not being kind to me. I lost both things.
You
All right.
need
Kind
something
PDF.
looked up in the Esper Genesis rulebook.
manual.
Wow, that is so pretty. How can I get one?
I think you can get one from Alligator Alley.
It's very true.
Wow.
It's really important in these difficult times to support these gaming companies.
And
That is a
it
good point, and
5e
legitimately true.
compatible.
That is a very good point.
It is a good, yes. People
is.
should go out and spend as much as you can on books and games right
As
now.
much as you can.
For
Preferably mine.
That's true. While you're at that, you should also look at, if you're thinking, where do I get other things that these wonderful people have produced? You might look at something called Tales and Tomes to the Forbidden Library, contributed
right.
to by both Kat and Carlos, and published by Alligator Alley, and available right now in PDF form on DriveThruRPG by typing an ! library in the chat.
Yep.
Which someone has done.
Which they have just done just now. Thank you, Runo. Okay. Sorry, I lost both of my things. Sorry, the complete as we were doing this little banter. My Adobe Reader completely blew up. All right, I'm just back to where I need to be. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, good, wonderful. Okay. So, you are going to fire just a regular shot then because you've given that over to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sniper shot.
I will give you one shot on this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're using your inspiration, or are you not?
Not yet. Not yet. 25.
Who needs inspiration? Jesus.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was
Seriously.
What? Oh, and I almost crit too, because I crit with the sniper. You crit on a 19.
25. Yes, I still use Adobe Dragon. I use Lotus
I use
1,
it
2,
too.
3.
I use it too.
Okay, so fire. So that is going to be a hit. You didn't specify. Oh, I'm sorry. You were firing at him, right? At Black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm just checking right now if there's anything special about my sniper when it relates to armor or anything. Let's see. That doesn't matter. Let me see. I'll roll the damage though.
Okay.
$2d8 plus 2. I think, yes. $11 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And when
As
I get a chance,
Go
I would
ahead.
like to. I would like to use a. I know we're not in like combat right now, but as soon
You're
as I
about to
can, as soon as I can, if possible, before combat, I'd like to use a bonus. Oh, I can't because I just fired the sniper. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. So I make a. Do you have time to do this before? Okay. Make a perception check. You're getting fired at the minute the shot. You take the shot. You are fired at immediately, and then I'm going to ask for
Okay.
initiative rolls. But
Okay.
before that, you do get one quick perception check as that bolt goes off.
Yes, sir. All right. Is this something that Aramis might be able to see as well?
No, I think this is something you're likely to see because of your experience with this rifle.
Scope. Oh, sure. Okay.
Or this weapon, I should
alright.
say.
24.
Okay. You're pretty sure that when this blast hit, you can see that he kind of rocks back a little bit from the impact. But one, he doesn't seem as... I mean, that was a pretty good shot. That doesn't seem to have been as strong a hit as you would have expected. Moreover, the blue sparking that I mentioned that was on the sword and the bow staff are brighter now. So the bolt hit and then it was like bzzz, like sort of around the kind of the bow staff and the sword and the blade.
And
As
those
you
are
sort
the
of
things
sorry, go ahead.
He wields those, and then his friend has a laser rifle.
Correct.
And that's it.
That's right.
Okay.
I mean, she may have a melee weapon also, but she's got a laser
Sure.
thing pointed at you right now. Speaking of that laser rifle, that fired at the exact same time that you fired in a second later, almost as if it
Yeah.
were what we call a held action. This went
makes sense.
off. And let's see. She is going to get... That is a 19 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
Okay. So...
Wait, can she see him? Because she was aiming at me, and
Yeah, because if you see where... For him to get close enough that he could fire, so you'd have to move, like, that far forward, but not far forward. She's right here. So...
right, but she's angled at me. She's ready and angled at me, and she's gonna do this and then shoot.
Yeah, but she was angled at you when you were talking back and forth to when Blatt was talking back and forth to Kaz. She had her rifle set either way. I mean, it's literally like a shift left and fire. You know, like
Sounds fair to me.
you're within inches at each other. She wouldn't have been able to aim for Petra or one back there, but it's literally just a quick shift. She seems clearly to have been on a, if you'll pardon the pun here, hair trigger to do this. That is going to do a total of 8 points of piercing damage to you.
Okie dokie.
And as you were hit by that, Blatt, who's kind of hit by this kind of, kind of moves his head, and you hear this kind of thing, and he goes,
I was hoping we could settle this in a civilized way.
and he goes, and the bow staff and the sword both just like electricity running up and down their sides. And I would like us, please, to roll initiative.
What's the count on the clock?
Clock was at 2:45 when this started.
What?
Started at 3 minutes.
That took 15 seconds, that entire interaction? That conversation took 15 seconds?
I tell you what, I'll give you 2:30. How's that sound? 30
All
seconds.
right.
Better?
Jeez.
There you go.
That's
How
still-
about
I mean,
30 seconds? You guys act quickly.
I have an initiative in double digits for once.
All right.
So
Congratulations.
That's what
frickin'
I'm talking about.
exciting.
Okay, let's see.
Oh.
Let's go with some.
I'm
Carlos.
faster than sleep well this time. This is
Oh, man.
amazing.
I'm sleeping pretty well here. Oh boy.
I'll take an 18. That'll work.
Okay. All right. So, back over to that. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I didn't put the turn order up. Darn it all.
Good go, guys.
I will do it by hand. Okay, we're looking at an 18 for Aramis, I believe. Kaz, is that, what do we got, a 16?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Mind what he's got. Okay, Petra with a 14.
The big 14.
Mm-hmm.
The big
And
one.
sleep well, sir. Not appearing in this picture. No, he is occupied with other
See you
things.
tomorrow. Tell me how the fight went.
Let's see. Okay, so we got here, and then here, and okay. So, and then you've only got, I think, do you have 2 of the constructs still with you?
No.
Sleepwell or any of them? I think you
No,
shut
we
them
took them
down, right?
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
took
That's what
them
I thought.
apart.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That is what I thought. Okay. I had it because I had a line for constructs from before, but not anymore. Okay.
I think the line was constructs betraying us at the worst moment possible. But
I don't know what would make you think that would happen. Can I get a dexterity score for you, Aramis? What's your just raw score?
Raw score is 13.
Okay. All right. Go with that. And that, and that. Good. Okay. First to act is going to be Aramis. So yes, you just saw these dueling shots go off, and apparently both hit. What'd you like to do?
Well, shoot.
They did.
All right. Aramis is gonna. Jesus, I don't know what the right choice is here.
Welcome to the
When-
club.
Well, so when Kaz fired his shot, did it look like? So we've had experiences with other, baddies who absorb energy and then use it, to their advantage, either repair or
Mhm.
they absorb and then redirect, kind of a thing. Am I getting the same sense about this good old General Blatt here and his armor?
It's not 100% clear if this is sort of an energy absorption thing, or if it's just very efficient at distributing it. And you've heard about that before, Aramis, actually, even in your work as a melder, that sometimes there are certain kinds of materials which can dissipate, in particular Esper energy, but really any kind of energy, over it. you're not sure if this is absorbing it or if it's kind of channeling it into something else. It's possible. Either way, I talked before to Kaz about how there's no way that a normal gang leader would be having armor like this. You can confirm that there's no way anyone that you've seen would have armor of this level. Like you've heard that it might be theoretically possible, like it's possible to do invisibility cloaks if you can bend light, but it's really hard to figure out how to do it, and it's extremely expensive. So this is way above this guy's pay grade from everything you would have expected.
Screw it. All right. So,
I mean, but he did. I'm sorry, just before you go on. But he did clearly get hurt a little bit by it, or at least he got rocked by it. But it also seemed to be not quite as effective as you might have expected a shot like that to be. And he did do the, like afterwards. So maybe that's just a cool parlor trick. Like you've heard him, and
shit. Sorry.
Suddenly
I'm
Tron,
firing
like
off
flaming discs. I'm like, all right, well,
Yes.
there we go.
Right. So, flaming discs are coming up here. So I'm gonna fire all 3 of them at him.
Okay.
I get 3, I believe.
Tell us about these flaming discs, by the way, for those in the audience who have not seen them before.
Yeah, these
Yes.
flaming discs are new.
No, I've used them
Have you
once
used them
before.
before?
Once
Cool.
before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you create 3 discs of intense flame that spin rapidly above your location, with which you can launch at multiple targets. The discs can be launched at one target or at several. Make a ranged attack for each disc. 1 on a hit, the target takes 2d6 fire damage. Each disc can only be launched once, after which they disappear, regardless of whether or not they hit the target. At the end of the duration, all 3 discs disappear.
I just love the image though of you leaping up, grabbing them like literally Tron style, and then just spinning around and then hucking them in one direction. I don't know.
How about a 25, 22, and a 21?
That is pretty impressive. And you said all at Blatt, right?
Yeah, they all just sort of come and clawed hands just kind of grab them and start throwing them left and right.
Bam, bam, bam. He just like gets hit by all 3.
Okay, so we got 11, 7, and what's the third one? And an 8. So if I'm reading that correctly, that sounds like 26 points damage.
Sure does. That's so he kind of like you can tell that got his attention. So he just like sort of staggers back like a little bit. You hear him.
Not bad. That's not bad.
So the energy level does not seem to. He doesn't do the on this time. But he took all of that and did not seem to like it. Are you moving anywhere?
Shit.
Exactly. He's a user. He can lead the rebellion against the MCP. Exactly. End of line.
Look, I'm more concerned about the other one because that's probably his, his Sark, and that's when she grows like 60 feet tall, and it's not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So Aramis is going to move into range and engage him.
Oh, so you throw the disc and then you're like, okay, I love it.
Pretty much.
All right, I love it. Okay, next is Layden's turn. And so Layden kind of slides through and runs directly at, and is not going to get there yet, but runs directly at the woman with the laser rifle. And she is already getting ready for a shot to fire directly at Layden, but that is what Layden is doing. Kaz, you were up next. You have, unfortunately, not a great shot anymore on the woman because Layden is running right towards her. You also don't have a great shot on Blatt because of where Aramis is, but you could probably get off a shot if you, you'd have to come closer. You'd have to kind of come, here-ish to fire off at them. Or I guess over here would be another option. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll move here. Would that be okay for a shot, you think?
Yes, I think you can do that.
Okay. And then as I'm moving, I'm gonna switch quickly as I'm getting closer to use my arm pistol this time.
Okay.
which, yeah, that's fine. And I'm gonna make, first of all, I'm gonna cast Graviton Strike, which is a focus ability. It's something that the next time I hit a creature with a weapon attack, a gravity field attempts to restrain them, and they would take force damage if they are successfully restrained. But it's the next time I hit, and I focus on it, or concentrate rather.
Okay.
So I'll cast that as a bonus action.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take a arm pistol shot at General Blatt.
Before you do that, as you raise the arm pistol,
Oh, great.
you are raising it towards him, and suddenly you get this very loud in your head, like this, like static, like thing, and your suit kind of like your hand jerks over. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Okie doke. I'd like to use my inspiration.
Having anticipated this might happen, yeah.
Yes. So I get to roll twice. Wisdom saving throw, you say? Okay.
Rudenell, welcome to my world.
Here we go. Okay. Okay, how about a 16?
The 10 would not have done it, but the 16, yes, you kind of like you're like ugh, and you kind of clear your head. Your head is still kind of hurts a little bit actually. Your body sort of pulses a little bit painfully, but you're able to kind of jerk your gun back over. The static subsides. That should 100% not have happened. And I think we've talked about this before. You've not played Mass Effect yet, right? You haven't
Oh
played
no,
before?
I played
or did you
Mass
play
Effect 1 and 2 when
Okay.
they came out.
Do you remember the Overlord DLC?
No, I do not though.
The-
It's been a while.
Okay, well, the one, oh gosh, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it. The one with the brother who gets, well, do you remember
Put
where,
it in general terms.
it's you find a brother that a bad thing has been done to, and his other brother was the scientist who made it happen. And when you first get there, there's just this screaming computer that makes this incredibly loud, overwhelming, and incredibly freaky sound. That was essentially what I was hoping you had played it so you would know.
I'll go back and listen to it so I can justifiably haunt my own dreams.
Okay, okay. I'm done, Dragon. It's good. It's good. But you gotta go play it, man. What the hell's wrong with you? Go play this
they
game.
need to remaster that game already.
Yeah, it's so good, that game. And yes, thank you, Coven Guy, for redeeming the Arvanaut Inspirations 30,000 channel points. You have a feeling like you're going to need this. I don't know what you mean. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so you do manage to get your gun back on track. So now you can fire as you wish, and fire at her.
Okay. Yeah, I'm firing at General Blatt. So I will do that. 22
Yeah.
to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. And that will trigger the graviton strike. So it says, next time I hit within the duration, the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained. If it is large or larger, which I'm not imagining that he is, then
No, it's
he
medium.
has advantage. Okay. All right. So it's a strength saving throw against a DC of 14, I believe.
Okay, so there's this sort of like, so you hit him with it, and does it also do damage or just the strike?
Yeah. So my pistol shot itself will do damage.
Do its own damage,
and
okay.
Then, yeah.
Okay, so the Graviton Strike, you can tell me damage in a minute. The Graviton Strike, though, so there's a moment where this kind of dark energy envelops him, and he kind of, and then the electricity on his armor flares, and he just, like this, and the energy just dissipates. He's apparently pretty strong. However, you do get the impression, though, that it did have an effect initially, but he broke free from it.
I have a feeling that my inner D&D senses are tingling. Okay. All right. So, but here's the pistol damage then.
Graviton scabs.
And Graviton Strike is over now since it attempted. Okay. So the damage is just nice little.
700 damage.
I forget I can attack more than once per turn. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Been a while since
I can attack twice,
hit
and
with
I
a
also.
Graviton Strike.
Let's see. One moment. Boop, 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 boop,
Graviton Scabs. That is a great punk rock back name. And we already said about the
Okay.
black hole sun is obviously the
Yeah, black hole gun.
sun. Black hole gun. What a gun!
Okay.
Wash away
There's
this
Mark.
guy.
Where is the Stalker subclass? Okay. On my first turn during combat, I can make an additional attack. Yes, so on. Oh, okay, that didn't matter anyway. That's fine. Okay. And I get to make an additional attack. If this attack hits, the target takes an additional weapon damage equal to wisdom. All right, let me roll this first. So he takes 3 damage
Okay.
from the pistol. And then I'm going to shoot again.
By the way, same effect as the last time, that it affects him, but not as much as you might have expected, and you see the kind of glowing,
All right. And also as a hunter, let's see.
I
It says
love that
have,
emote for that, Aruno. Yes.
I have advantage on attack rolls against creatures that have not yet acted in combat.
Yep.
So I didn't really need it for the last one, but in case I do for this one, we'll see. Yes.
I think that would be
think I
yes, you
do
would need it.
How about a
Hey,
24?
there you go. That's
okay.
it.
And then this one is going to do just a little bit more damage, and then I will be done.
7 million damage.
I wish. Ah, nice. 11.
Okay, 11, and that's also coming out of that same shot, right? I know it's multiple, but
Yeah, these are two separate arm pistol shots.
both
The
hard.
first
Okay,
one-
that's what I thought. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure. Good, because I wanted to describe it correctly. So it's the same effect
Sure.
as before. So hits him, but not as much as you would have expected, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you moving anywhere?
I would like to move. I'll move back to where I was.
Okay. All right. So you move back to where you are. That leads us to Petra.
Yep.
Petra, what would you like to do?
I think you're muted.
Yeah, I think you're. Yeah, I didn't know if you're talking.
I hope you guys know that I am hysterically funny at those moments when I muted.
No,
it. Like,
every time.
Yes,
It's so
amazing.
frustrating that we miss those amazing moments.
Anyway, so as I was saying, I would like to move forward and hit someone, but I do not believe I can actually get within hitting range.
I think you're right about that. You could theoretically get close enough to engage them, although you wouldn't be able to hit this turn, but you could get into range to engage them. But the question is, who and how do you want to do it? Because,
So I'm basically moving up here, which I believe I can get to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And firing up the disruptive strike on my hammer.
I don't
in
remember.
preparation.
Tell me about this disruptive strike.
Let me tell you about the disruptive strike. My notes say that I have used this once before. But it is the one where
It's very loud and callous.
clearly there's too many spells.
I remember this. Yes.
When you hit someone with the hammer, it just sounds like a fire.
Oh, here we go. No, that's the ramming strike, has the thunderous clap.
Yes.
This one, so the
Yes.
next time you hit with a melee weapon attack during this power's duration, your attack deals an extra 1d6 necrotic damage. So I'm making them rot.
Yep.
And additionally, if the target is a creature, it must make a constitution saving throw or be drained from the attack, suffering a disadvantage to strength and dexterity saving throws until the end of its next turn.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
So that seems to me like a good power to
Yeah.
get ready.
That is a good call. So you go up there, fire that up, and get it ready. That's a
Black
bonus action.
energy drips off the hammer.
That's awesome. So now you got up there with one. Since you technically, if you wanted to do a double move to engage them, because what you just did is a bonus action, so you could still do a move to get up to them. If you go here, the problem is you're then susceptible to attacks from. You're basically putting yourself in a flank.
Right.
So you could go around here, or you could go around here. Either one of these you could reach theoretically.
And so the one,
And this is Blatt, in case you're
this
curious.
is Blatt.
Yeah.
Okay, I really want to hit Blatt. Is
Okay.
who I want to hit. So I'm going to move here
Okay.
and hit him.
Can she hit him yet?
Can I hit him?
No, can't hit him, but you can, because that's a double move. But you can get to him. So she moved,
You hit him
fired
just a
up
little.
her disruptive strike. Yeah, I mean, you're like you're giving him the like the stare down, like I'm ready. Your weapon is prepared. He turns his helmet to face you. Looks at you impassively because he responds by looking at you through his mask, so you don't know what he's thinking, but he looks at that as well. Okay, and good timing because it's now his turn. So he sees you, and he's got his bow staff and his sword, and so he smiles and comes up, and then now Petra, you've seen sort of people fight with kind of agility, leaping around, spinning left and right. That is not what this guy does. This guy is all just about just hurling down with strength, and every one of his hits is like you feel not only the impact, but then the force of the electricity behind it, the energy that's behind it, that sort of hits as well. So the first attack on you, he's going to attack you twice. First one is going to be, looks like a good roll, but I don't know yet because I don't see my bonuses. A 23 to hit.
It's a miss.
Thank you, Sleep Well, but I'd like to know from Petra.
I believe a 23 does hit.
How about a 15?
My armor class is 17.
Okay, so that's the
Nice.
second one will miss. So he hits with the blade, not with the staff. His staff comes down, you like kind of do one of these matrix, underneath it things, but then he hits you with the blade. And as this thing hits you, you feel the kind of just bzz, like as it hits you. He does 12 points of damage to you as this electricity just pours into you. And you feel as if you've been sort of like slammed, and there's going to be a mechanical effect to that. So first of all, like I said, 12 points of damage. Secondly, I need you to make, please, a Constitution saving... Is it con? No, sorry, Strength saving throw for me. It's a bow staff. It's BO staff, Dragon Spear. Terrible
Does
body odor
a
staff.
14
Yeah.
do the con.
That is not enough. So he hits you, and you stagger backwards, and the impact basically lifts you off your feet, and you land on your back. So you are prone on the ground for the moment. And he looks down at you, kind of his mask glowing, and he says,
I'm such a shame. I've heard so many good things about you, Petra. What a shame to find they're wrong.
And the next to go is his lieutenant over here, the woman. And she is going to fire directly into the chest of the charging Madakai Laden. Ooh, that is quite a hit. Okay. That is a lot of damage that you just did to Laden. So it hits directly square in the chest, and Laden kind of is like thrown backwards, but so great is the fury of her charge that she's still moving, but she's kind of like, you can see a major like scorch mark on her body. That definitely hurt. So let's see. And then Lieutenant, having done that, is going to, looks like she's getting ready to fire up her rifle. She only fires one. Oh no, I take it back. Fires twice. So fires with the rifle, then is going to drop the rifle and leap the desk. And now you can see that she has what looks like some kind of a kind of glowing, it looks a little bit like the Blatt's blade, but it's much shorter, like an electro blade, an electro dagger almost of some kind,
An
which is
energy
charged
shiv.
with something like that. It looks like that, yeah, an energy shiv, a little bit larger, but basically, and strikes down. And the thing about this is that she moves very quickly. So fires, drops, vaults, and then comes down and hits a second time. And now Layden is kind of like, staggered back, and now this woman is in direct connection with Layden, who felt all of that. Okay, that's a good question. Here's the bow staff. Who's the Luke staff? Okay, next up is Sleepwell. Finally gets to go. Sleepwell, what would you like to do?
I am going to run. Now, I'm trying to remember sort of like this is sorry, what happened here?
Oh, I think you have. You perhaps have disappeared.
The abyss.
Oh yeah, I don't quite know what's happening here, but
Let me see if I can find where you went.
I found it. It's just I teleported miraculously away and out of danger.
Okay.
But so
Sleep
but so-
well.
Sleepwell departs, and
right.
Sleepwell leaves the party.
Yeah. So here's where I was, and so if I'm counting right, it's like 5, 10, 15. Sorry, my computer's like super slow for some reason right now. It's like weird. But so if putting myself here
10-foot though, I believe. 10-foot
Oh,
squares.
I thought it was 5 feet.
Let me check though. Let me confirm. Let me make sure that I know.
I think they are 10.
Yeah, they're 10. Because that's why Petra wasn't able to quite reach there in time. It's a pretty large area, so 10-foot squares, not 5.
Okay. So this is 30 feet, is that correct?
That would be yes, from where you were. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my next question then has to do with the fact that, remember, I'm playing sans character sheet, sans rule book, sans everything right now.
Yep.
And I can't quite see what the mass treatment
Yeah.
is. So I just kind of need to know what range it is. I think it's up to 6 creatures within 30 feet of me.
Mass treatment is 30 feet, and yes, 6 creatures of your choice that you can see within range.
And it's 2d8 plus my bonuses?
Plus your forging ability modifier, and
Right. And also I have medicine specialization, so that's an extra +2?
yes, that's right.
Okay.
And your forging technique, I don't know if I have that here on your character sheet. What your
Yeah, I thought it was plus, if I was remembering right.
It's whatever what's your class?
Class engineer.
Whatever an engineer uses to cast their
Oh, it's wisdom, so it would
techniques.
actually be +4.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's wisdom. That would
Yeah,
be,
so it's-
so your wisdom
so
would be
it's-
+4.
Okay.
Right,
So
channeling ability.
basically,
I'm staring right at it. Okay.
I'm gonna do mass treatment on Petra,
Okay.
Layden, and Kaz.
Okay. Let's
Good
make that
choice.
happen.
Yeah, doing that right now. So they're gonna each heal 11 points.
All right.
Nice.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Kaz is up to full. Petra is almost up to full. Okay. Sadly, you also hit Blatt. Thank you. Just kidding. Damn it. Okay. Okay. So you do that. You cast that. You'd moved, and I think that's all you can do because that is a
That's me.
action. All right. Good stuff, though. That leads us to Kratos. And so Kratos comes moving in this direction also. And then there is a shot that comes out of you. Both Kaz and Sleepwell hear this behind you. This pew, and you hear ah, and you hear then a slam. And as you look over your shoulder, you see that Kratos has been slammed into the door, and right in the door where you had just left, actually, Sleepwell, there is a member of what is obviously a Roach gang member standing there with a pistol, who apparently has just blasted Kratos in the side. And so Kratos sort of is there and then sort of stands up and staggers towards this gang member, who I'm going to make a official person for right here. So you can see them right there. So they came out of... They were not there when you were in that room, but it's possible they came out of the door that was... You haven't... You know, the eastern door there, perhaps, Sleepwell, or something like that. But you had seen, of course, that bedroll. But either way, they came out and fired at Kratos. So Kratos is now occupied with that guy. So...
Is Kratos still wielding the black hole gun?
So he
Or did he
was,
drop?
although at the moment he's got it more or less just by his side, and he's going in with his usual, I believe he's got his,
Bullets.
his hammer or whatever it is that he's using.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
remember. Has been revealed. Okay. Okay. All right. For everyone's reference, the clock is now down to 2:24. We started at 2:30, you might remember. And so we will now go back up to the top with Aramis.
Oh, now. What to do?
What an interesting battlefield you have here, Aramis.
Ah, shit, we're gonna do it again because it was so much fun.
Petra's prone, right?
We're gonna
That's right.
grab 3 more flying discs out of the air and just throw it at this guy because he's pissing me off. He's knocking my friends down.
Okay. And actually, I will put let's put the little icon so we know that Petra's currently down. All right. You may fire up those flaming discs. This is a rank 2. This thing.
Say what?
Is this a rank 2?
This is a rank 2.
Okay.
So 13, 9, 17.
Okay. All right. 13, 9, and 17. Only one of those is going to. No, I'm sorry. Actually, I take that back. None of those are going to hit. Miss.
Son of a...
And he looks back. Blatt sort of like looks over his shoulder at you, or looks up at you. He's staring down at Petra, like as he dodged the disc, looks over and.
I bet that never happens to you, does it, Aramis?
Have you met me? And I'm gonna move back.
Okay.
I'm gonna move there.
Okay. All right. So 3 hits last time, 3 misses this time, but it's okay. It's all averages out. Okay.
I got really confused looking at the board for a second because I saw a snail icon on top of Petra. I was like, Petra got turned into a snail.
Yeah. Petra's being attacked by a space snail, and no. Okay. All right. So now Layden is going to go. Layden is staggered but not bowed. Brings her I think she has a vibroblade, if I'm not mistaken, to bear, and swings it at the lieutenant or whoever this woman is that's fighting, and hits. It's a decent amount of damage there too. Okay, and staggers her, and she kind of like hits her so hard actually the lieutenant is like back into the desk, and then forward again, and lieutenant like kind of growls angrily with her as we called it, energy shiv up and ready to go. And Layden has time to yell out, "The hell is that timer for?" Sort of yells it out to everybody, because you can all see the timer is still counting down over there. Kaz, you are up with Petra on deck. What would you like to do?
Pretty simple turn. I'm gonna use a bonus action to Hunter's Mark General Blatt.
Okay.
Just so I can track him and do extra damage in the future. And then I'm actually gonna back up even more here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, I can only go 25 actually as a Polari. I'll go right about there and use my second. Well, should I do it now? I should not do it now. Never mind. I would like to retract my movement real quick. I'll use my action instead to just take another. Yeah, I'm gonna take another pistol shot at General Blatt.
Okay.
If I may.
You may certainly attempt to do so.
Okay. So I'll, having started here, I'll actually move close enough to do that.
Okay.
And then take the shot.
As you start to move that way,
oh great,
you again hear, some terrible staticky sound. And I will again need you to make a wisdom saving throw as your feet start to stumble.
Do I get the feeling that it's proximity based? No.
No, you get the you get this feeling it's in no, because this, well, I mean maybe, but this is like you've you felt a little off, but not like it got worse and worse and then this. Like it's like something just flipped a switch during this combat.
Yeah.
It's pretty
But
intense.
I don't get the indication that this is, or at least not an extremely explicit indication that this is happening because I keep stepping close to him.
No, I would not say that. It seems to be that something is trying to override
more
your own
random. Okay.
commands to your body, like.
All right.
And of course, and by the way, you are not in fact a robot, but something about your suit is
Of
giving you
course.
feedback that you have never experienced.
Okay. Here we go. My internet's being slow. Come on.
No, this is the problem, right? I mean, this is exactly what's happening to Kaz. He's like, oh, I can't get
Yeah.
straight.
There we go. I had a feeling it would happen.
He was afraid to tell you. It's like, I don't want to show him this. So yeah, you start to move forward, but your feet start to stumble. And instead of going to where you want to, you trip and you actually land like prone on your face. Now, you can still fire from this position, but you're going to be at disadvantage to do it. Or you can wait till next turn and stand up, unless something else happens. I mean, this is the second turn in a row that something has started to occur. Or you could do something else. I mean, it's up to you. Yeah, Kaz installed AOL. You've got mail.
I'll still take the shot.
Okay. Taking the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Go ahead and roll the other one.
Well, it's a disadvantage, right?
Oh, that's true. I guess you can't do it worse than a crit fail.
I mean,
yeah.
here, let's...
So, here's what you would have
it's the
done. Yeah,
opposite.
yeah, see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you struggle to pull your kind of, basically pull up so you can get a shot off with the pistol, but you're just, your arm sort of catches and it goes off wildly. And so all of you see this happen, I would say. Well, actually, Aramis probably doesn't see this, and Kratos is too busy doing something else. Everyone else is occupied except for Sleepwell. I would say Sleepwell, you probably notice that he just tripped and fell for no apparent reason. But yeah.
And I can't forget, I do, whenever I take the attack action, I can attack twice, so I kind of have a pow-pow.
Okay.
So I get to try one more
Try
set
that one
of
last time.
disadvantage shots. Doop. Here's the first one. Okay.
That's promising.
Okay. No, that doesn't hit based on what Arbus did.
Well, no, if it's a 19, that's a 19, right? That does hit.
Yes, it is.
That does hit.
Artemis had a
18.
Oh yes, or 17 rather.
Or 17, right? But
Got it.
definitely did not have a 19.
Good. All right.
So that does hit.
I will roll the damage, and Hunter's Mark, I deal a little extra. I think it's.
Did you get the Hunter's Mark off before you started moving?
I did.
Okay, that's what I thought.
cast Hunter's
Cast
Mark
that
as a
first and
bonus
then
action,
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He is not a construct or automaton, right?
He's not. I mean, as far as you know, he seems to be not
Okay.
those things.
All right. In that case. All right.
What's this rock
Oops,
god?
not D20.
The Doom Soul.
So, 13 points of damage.
Okay. All right. So same thing as I've described previously. He is hit, but not as much as you would expect, and the energy you can kind of see, and he says, looking back at you,
What's the matter, Cosmoritis? Feel like you're losing a bit of control?
and that leads us to Petra.
And
you are prone at the moment.
I'm going to become non-prone.
Okay, so you stand up.
And then I am going to, I believe that still leaves me a hit.
Yep, you can still attack him.
Whack him.
Okay.
or at least attempt to whack him. Should I be able to find that window again?
And you get 2 attacks, right?
But I had to get up. Do I still get 2 attacks if I have to get up?
Yeah, because your attack action is 2
And
attacks.
then-
So
Don't forget, I think your bonus is actually a +6.
I believe that you were right. So the first one would be a 24.
that's a hit for sure.
And then the second would be a 21.
And 21 will also hit.
So
Necrosis.
that's 1d8.
On that
Plus-
first hit,
That was
on
great.
that first hit with necrosis.
Isn't it every hit?
No, according to this, it says on your first. Okay, let me get the thing, because I was reading up about it because I love the title. The next time you hit with a melee weapon attack, your attack deals an extra 1d6 necrotic damage. So you do that on the first
Okay.
time that you hit with these,
Totally cool.
and then it will make its con saving throw in a minute. But so do your attack damage for this first one plus the 1d6, please, and
Okay.
then we'll do the second
So-
attack damage.
Is your hammer also on fire?
No.
No, she
It
set
can
up the
only
disruptive strike.
have one special effect per time.
Gotcha.
So that's 17 damage.
Okay. That is a lot of damage. Okay, and that you definitely felt that. Okay.
And the other one is rolling, and my machine is hung. Interesting. But I missed. I'm sorry. It should be 1d8. Let me.
Yeah, just do that again. Then that's fine.
Sorry. A 9.
Okay. All right. So you can see now that there are some sort of sparks that are beginning to appear in his armor. Some serious dents that you've put into it. It's military spec armor, but you know, like the classic. I was thinking about this for some reason when you were talking about take the shot. I started thinking of X-Men, and there's that classic, incredibly dumb line about, you know, do you know what happens to a frog in a thunderstorm when it gets struck by lightning? Same thing as everything else. So same thing. This thing may be military spec armor, but when it gets hit hard by a hammer, there's going to be some dents. So there definitely you are starting to note that there is some damage that's definitely happening. Also, you'll be happy to know that. As you sort of hit him with that first sort of throw, that first hit, you saw some of the energy kind of reduces on him, or at least seems to fade. So it seems as if it did have an effect on saving throws until the end of its next turn. So that will be something to keep in mind. And now that you've done this stuff, so he sort of he kind of staggers back and then.
Very nice. Very nice. I see that I was right to offer you a job. It's unfortunate you decided to turn it down, isn't it?
And he sort of stares at you, and then he says,
I don't know if you're going to want to go through with this, Petra. You realize that there may be reasons you don't want the Long Winter destroyed either.
and he takes his bow staff and sword and then rakes upwards across your body, or at least attempts to. Let's see. That first one is going to be... I was almost using the statistics for a mutated boar. No, you're not being attacked by a mutated boar.
Unless.
Suddenly. Okay, let's see. So that first one is going to be a 16.
So that just misses.
Okay. And the second one is a 24.
Unfortunately, that hits.
Okay. So this time he hits not with the sword, but with the bow staff. And he's going to do 5 points of damage this time, and it does not have the sort of the wallop back effect that he might have hoped, that he was presumably hoping for. So you do that, and he sort of looks over at the, or he does that to you, and he looks over at the timer, and he says,
Predictable. What did you do? Set a bomb?
he's kind of panting and staring at the terminal that's clearly marking down the, the countdown timer.
Wait, General Blatt said that?
Blatt said that. Yeah, because the terminals in this room are also reflecting this timer.
And he said, wait, or he said, what did you do? Plant a bomb?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Set a bomb, actually, is what he said.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So now the lieutenant, or whoever it is, this other person, this other woman, is going to try to, with her shiv, do some stuff to Layden. Is going to miss once and hit once. And kind of a glancing blow. Although, because Layden got really badly hurt by that first laser blast, Layden has seen better days. I mean, Layden is definitely still hurting, but is gamely fighting on nonetheless.
And he was healed, healed.
No, I got that.
Healed, but, yeah.
Right, I got that, yeah. But that was, I mean, that laser blast was a bad hit. So your heal was a big deal. That's the only reason that she's still standing now after the hit of the other woman that's fighting her. But yeah, your heal was hugely important to keeping her on her feet. Okay, they stay engaged with each other, so Sleepwell, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm just doing some counting math here. So this would be, I don't know why it keeps doing this teleport thing on me. All right, but this is like, so here's where I am.
Mm-hmm.
10 feet, 20 feet, so 30 feet.
Yes.
Would put me there, right?
Yep, for sure.
Okay. I'm just sort of thinking about position right now and also not being able to see very well. Okay. So I'm going to move myself up to here for my move action.
Okay.
And then I am going to use, sorry, just character sheet being slow. So, okay, so this one is here, so.
Sonic Burst. Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out the math here, like with 5 feet, if that's.
I think I see what you're doing. If you close to within, so if you get here, right here, you could then have it just affect Blatt, if that's what you're looking, and not you, because it wouldn't affect Petra and it wouldn't affect your compatriots. It would mean that you're right next to him. I mean, like, that is melee range. That's what 5 foot range is. But
well, no, it's just with everybody within 5 feet, but the actual range of that. Oh, it's
5 foot radius.
Yeah, it's 5 foot radius. So, right. So then, yeah, I'm basically, if I put myself in just the right place, can I just hit the 2 baddies and not me?
Let's see. I guess if you're here, I don't think you can do
a little bit.
I would say I don't think you can do that without also hitting. I'll allow you to hit Blatt and not Petra, but I don't think you can hit Blatt and the woman without hitting Layden on top of it, because Layden is like they are, they're like right next to each other fighting each other. So I'd say that you probably can't do that. The only relatively safe thing is if you went almost like directly south here, at which point you would hit him, but you wouldn't quite hit the woman. So
right, but then I'd also be in melee range. That's just dumb. I think I'm going to take the rest of my movement then to kind of like curve around to right about here, which puts me a little farther than 10 feet away, so I can get a clear shot. And then I'm going to use laser blast on the woman sniper.
Okay.
And so that is it's a dexterity attack, and here we are.
Whoa.
Wait, what happened? Oh, because it was. I'm sorry. I got a 36.
I'm level 35. Have you heard?
Sorry, I rolled 2d8.
It's Sleepwell's final form.
Let's. Come on,
yeah, exactly. Donut.
So it's a 13.
That's more like it. 13 is not quite going to hit. Unfortunately, it misses, and Layden kind of like does a quick shot as she's like struggling with this woman, but you do not hit. Okay, and you are standing there, which is where you wanted to be. Okay, now meanwhile, Kratos is locked in combat with this guy up here, and so he's going to. It's going to hit actually. Okay. So that hits him. That guy is going to come back and try to hit Kratos. He's going to miss horrifically. Okay. So timer is now down to 2:18 as we go to the top of the round, and Aramis is up with Layden on deck.
Well. How's our big daddy looking?
He's definitely hurt. He's been hit, a number of times. He's definitely hurt. He doesn't look like he's going to drop this round, necessarily, although a strong hit maybe. He's definitely been messed up a little bit by all of you.
Well. Let's see what I have available to me. Because I think I'm down. Yep, I'm done with talent points. God damn it.
And
that
big
long rest that Carlos was asking for. Damn it.
I know, right?
Your special staff.
That's true. You have your staff nunchuck thing. Big Black Tar. This is 5e based. It's Esper Genesis, but it's based on 5e, and you can get it. Certainly not a dumb question. You can get it by going to get it remotely, getting it digitally on PDF. The core manual is by this. We're actually sponsored by them, and in all seriousness, they're an amazing company. This is a beautiful book, and B, they, like everybody else, are shut down right now, and so they could definitely use the business. So if you're looking for an amazing space opera role-playing experience, I think all my players would confirm that you should give this a shot. Okay. So, sorry, Aramis, you were complaining about not having a rest yet.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Can't imagine.
And Aramis is going to, look up and curse God as he runs forward, extending the staff, and just kind of trying to, wield and come down on this thing.
Yes.
Now in chat, in Zoom chat, we talked about the fact that I can't find the stats on this thing. Can you remind me of what you remember?
Certainly I can. So this is a special staff which also has nunchucks, basically. So you can essentially split it, right? And then use it. And I believe what I had given you, I'm going to look it up. I don't have the statistics right on me, but I had given you some kind of an electro staff, I believe is what it was. So if you give me just a moment, I shall look it up to find what it was. Yes, weapon is what I'm looking for, yes. Speak the truth. I saw it. I was like, I found it. And then I looked and it was glow sticks. Yeah, you found some glow sticks. It'll be great for Halloween work and all that, and not much else. Yes.
Have you ever broken one of those things open, man? Those things are pretty toxic.
Yeah, they're nasty. No, it's true.
Yeah.
This is an energy. Yeah, it's an energy staff nunchuck. So what this does is 1d6 bludgeoning, but an extra 1d4 lightning damage or electrical damage. Sure. If you turn it into, so if you sort of break it into nunchucks, it means that you can then get 2 attacks with it, but each one of them does 1d4. So you either get 1d6 plus the 1d4 lightning, or 2 1d4s, but you don't get 1d4 plus 1d4. You just get 1d4 for each.
Okay. So I will definitely move in. And
you also look cooler with the nunchucks. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, absolutely.
Just in terms of
but I'm gonna bludgeon the hell out of this guy with this in staff form.
Sounds like a plan. All right, so go ahead and make your attack. And yes, the characters definitely are not maintaining social distance. This is not a coronavirus friendly adventure at the moment.
So I'm gonna use this staff that I've got. That's as a temporary, as collapsible staff that I've got. But yeah, not doing anything.
Fortunately, yeah, that is not going to get it done. So you miss, and he kind of dodges as your staff hits, and he says,
"Oh, such violence! I see you've given up cooking for being useless in combat. I expected better of you, Aramis."
Dude, you talk like something out of an old school. You talk like something out of an old school freaking vid. I used to watch stuff like this when I was a kid. Get some better dialogue.
There is no better dialogue.
he says.
I'm sorry. The movie may have been, Ice Pirates. Just go watch Ice Pirates, okay?
Oh man, and you hear this like terrible synth music.
You mean awesome synth music.
Right.
It was
Sorry.
great.
I meant amazing synth music. Yes, with the camera angle, like sort of like poised at the wrong thing. Anyway, okay. So you're staying engaged with him, I assume. Yes.
Yes.
Aramis. Okay. So now Layden is going to try to. Oh, Layden has had enough of this one person. Wham! Like slams her hard. Basically, just does one of these. In Johnny will appreciate this reference. In Phantom Menace, where they're in the midst of the greatest lightsaber battle of all time, and there's one part of the fight where Qui-Gon just basically is like, "Get the hell off my platform!" Like basically just like throws Darth Maul off. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what he does here. Like she just sort of like sheds her, and she goes slamming back into the table again. She, however, has been not hit as much. Now she's starting to see signs of wear, but Layden has not done as much damage as you would have hoped. But that was a hell of a hit right there. So Layden yells out again, "I said, what's going on with the timer?" Screaming out, because you can still see the numbers sort of counting down. Okay. Kaz, you are up. Currently on the ground. You're actually down, yes. I forgot to put your little snail icon on you. There we go.
I try to stand.
You are able to stand.
Okay. And that uses my entire movement.
Yes, your move action. You could move again, but then you wouldn't be able to do anything else.
Okay.
Unless you had a bonus, I guess.
Has Petra hit the general with her hammer?
Yes.
She hit him with the thing.
Yes.
And that was last turn, so is he under that effect of the...
He seemed to shake off whatever she was trying to do.
Got it. Okay. All right. I'm very limited here. But let me... Yeah, I'll wait. Ugh. All right. Oh, you know what? I can actually... One moment. I would like to use my data scanner as a hunter stalker.
Okay.
So this says I can, as an action, choose one creature, construct, or automaton within 60 feet. I immediately learn the nature of the target's damage, immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities. If the target is immune to location by stealth check, an innate ability, or an Esper power, I cannot scan them if they're immune to being located. But that's the only condition.
If they're immune to being located by it. Okay, no, they're not immune to being located by it.
All right.
So, and you're using this obviously on Blatt.
Yes.
So, and this is against any creature, doesn't that not an automaton or construct, just any creature?
It says as an action, choose one creature, construct, or automaton.
Okay. So, yeah, you can see that there are no apparently immunities, but there are resistances. And in particular, there is energy resistance, like lightning, electrical resistance on this thing. And there's also something else odd, which is as you're assessing it and trying to get a sense of, what it does and what it is, and kind of the nature of what it is, it's obviously somehow Esper infused. But as you're doing this, Blatt sort of is staring at you. He looks over at you and says, "Oh wait, I gotta plug in my." Got to plug in my handy dandy
evil bad guy
thing.
machine.
Yeah. And says,
You'd really like to know what I am, wouldn't you?
that did not sound like Blatt's voice. But it did sound like a voice that you've heard before.
Really hoping Kaz is going to yell something and tell us all what's going on here.
Was that voice in my head, it seemed, or was that coming from General Blatt's direction?
It was while you were analyzing it, but it sounded like it was in your head.
So it seemed to be a response to me using the data scanner on General Blatt?
Yep.
Okay.
And like I said, the voice sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't have to reason a guess. I'll before I speak, I'll use my bonus action. Since I used my action to do that scan, I'll use my bonus action to queue up another graviton strike, which, as long as I'm concentrating, it just waits for when I hit anyway.
You're able to do that.
And then as I'm standing up, I say, there's so many variables here. Well, first, as a player, I am very wary of the fact that. Okay, so Kaz says, "You're saying that this isn't you," and I say that to General Blatt, and I gesture at one of the terminals that has the countdown.
And Blatt kind of looks over. This is the last thing he's going to say because you guys can't get into a full convo. But he looks over and kind of looks back, and now it's Blatt's voice, not the whatever else voice that says,
"Oh, you mean you don't know what this is either? Interesting."
And for a moment, you think that the helmet almost tilts like it's looking off somewhere for just a moment. You don't know what that's about, but as if it was surprised, as if he was surprised at your answer.
Okay, got it. Got it. That's my turn, I think.
Yeah, that leads us to Petra. You were up, and you saw Blatt do this. Blatt definitely has seen better days. As I said, you've done a fair bit of damage, but yeah, and you have not heard any of these other things yet.
Then I am just going to hit him and hit him hard.
Okay.
If I can.
You can
First
do that.
Attack.
I was still looking at it. I'm like, wait, when did you get a collapsible staff? And I was like, oh wait, that was the last. That was Aramis's fight. I was like,
a 17.
A 17 is not going to hit.
And wow, this really is slow tonight.
Yeah, it's doing it for me too.
Because this is what happens when everyone on Earth is playing Roll20 on Friday. I can't imagine why.
It really is. I mean, it's just doing the little rolling the dice thing.
Yeah.
I didn't consider that.
There we go. 18. Does
18 will hit.
Okay.
Nice.
18 will, yes, 18 will just hit.
Beautiful.
Ooh,
nice.
11.
Damage.
And this is not any kind of extra disruptive strike, right? This was just straight up hitting him hard.
Alas, no disruptive strike this time. No.
Nonetheless, you hit him hard, and he, kind of again staggers back, and you can see he seems to be a little like, if you almost maybe bent over a little bit, and he says,
"I'm telling you, Petra, you do this, you destroy me, and you have no idea what you're going to unleash."
And with that, he then sort of steps up to you and swings away again, twice. Wow. Not a good round for the... That's not good. 7 and an 8. Neither one of these is going to do anything. Those are terrible misses. That's what happens, I guess, when he's been badly hit a bunch of times.
Monologuing.
Yeah, exactly. Don't monologue and fight, kids. All right. And then his... minion there, the woman, will also miss terribly. Man, she wasn't even monologuing. She's just listening to the bad monologue, and that's what we ended up with. All right, and that's going to bring us to Sleepwell.
So, as I've been observing, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not playing Sleepwell with knowledge that he doesn't have. So I'm trying to sort of like piece together what he's heard and whether he could make like an insight check or something to kind of understand.
Yeah, he's heard what he has not heard anything that caused that whole. He's heard none of that. But you know, the back and forth with Kaz and the voice and the static, like you haven't heard any of that. But he has heard what the guy has said. At least that last time he heard what he said to Petra,
Right.
because you're right next to them. So you
And
did hear that.
so maybe just like as a free action, I like to yell like, "What is she going to unleash? What happens?"
And panting, and he says,
Oh, you'll find out. You'll find out.
So at this point, I say like, "Look, I don't, listen to, crap that comes out of constructs' minds. I know them too well."
and he says,
I think you might be wrong about this one. I'm not a construct, but I've seen the whole thing. All of it. You have no idea.
his voice seems a little semi-hysterical-ish, weird, albeit still behind the mask.
Right. I don't know if this is right. I want to do something, but I just don't know if it's right. Also, it's like one of the few things I have left, so it might make sense to try it.
Go for it.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and try it to see if it affects the suit or something. I am going to get to... Just let me look at my position here. I'm going to, go to, Sorry. If I position myself right here, am I out of melee range there?
Where are you positioning yourself? I'm sorry.
Then zing it again.
Yes, I would say so. If you
I'm
go
gonna-
around to there.
Just kind of put myself right here outside of melee range, but close enough to drop an EMP pulse.
Now, but just so you know, he could, if he wanted, step up and get he's not far from you, so he could next
Yeah, he
turn
could
or
try to
whatever.
move, but I imagine that could create an attack of opportunity. I guess that's what I'm trying to
Not
figure out.
really. No, that would not be the case. You're not far away that he would have to disengage from Petra. It doesn't mean
Okay,
that you
so-
get an advantage against you. It's just that you'd be in range of him. That's all.
Yeah, I think Sleep was a little bit of a glass cannon, so maybe he won't move, or maybe just tech himself a little bit. But that's still only 10 feet away. That's
Yep.
still
Mhm.
plenty close enough to activate the EMP pulse.
Okay.
And
sounds good.
Basically, what I'm trying to do is deactivate anything sort of construct-y or automa-y that is going on inside of his armor-y.
Atama-E.
Okay. So you do that, and when you do the EMP pulse, you notice the following thing. So you get this, and then when it touches his armor flares, and it's as if you watch for the moment. This is not actually what happens, but it seems like time reverses, by which I mean the pulse goes and literally hits his armor. The armor flares, and then the pulse rebounds to you. Now, you are not a construct, so this is not going to affect you, but it's like you feel as if he literally just repelled the EMP pulse. It isn't that it didn't hit him, it's that it touched something and repelled to you. You have not seen this, needless to say, before.
Right. I would like to try to make a kind of check that would let me try to understand what has happened.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that would be.
Me too.
Make it make it a mechanics check.
Oh,
Astrophysics. We never get to use that one.
That's true.
yeah, we don't want to use that one. Okay. But I critically failed.
You're
so I
like,
actually wanna make a
what the
physics-
hell was that? What in the Sam Hill?
Duh, 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 duh.
What a tarnation.
All right. I think that's basically what I got.
I had no
So-
idea that one could spread the virus while asymptomatic. I'm Georgia's governor. I have no knowledge of anything. Sorry, too soon. Okay, so yeah, you don't know, but for sure you've never seen it happen. And he laughs again,
as if it doesn't know you were gonna try that, cat.
So at
he
this
says.
point, I'm gonna yell out. Well, as soon as that timer goes off, none of this is gonna matter anyway.
And he sort of doesn't respond to that. But meanwhile, the back and forth battle up front. Kratos does not hit, but the gang member does. I feel like the fight up top has been more like a slap fight, just like just it's like not really doing a lot of damage to each other. Okay, as we go to the top, you notice that two things. First of all, the timer goes to 2:12, except something weird happens, Sleepwell, because as you look over your shoulder at the timer, you can see that the timer should be, rounds are 6 seconds, that this should be going down 6 seconds. It didn't go to 6 seconds this time. Now the clock reads 1:40, as if it just made this enormous jump. And as you're looking, you can see that the numbers seem to be flickering a little bit.
It's hacking its own countdown. Wow.
So it does that, and then that brings us up to Aramis.
Oh, good.
And just, tactical situation, Aramis. Blatt clearly pretty badly hurt now, or so it seems. The sniper less so, but, if Blatt has been your focus, then Blatt looks to be in some difficulty.
Is there a display that Aramis can see in visual range that would show me the numbers?
Not facing this direct. Because it's not doing a count of like 30 seconds to impact. It's not doing that. I guess I'm trying. I don't think you would see one in this direction is the problem. The terminals are behind you. Like, I guess if Sleepwell, who does notice it, I don't know, Sleepwell, if you would yell it out. I don't want you to metagame, but if you would yell out, it's fine. Or if you were to say, like, everything's going even faster than I thought or something, or would you say nothing?
So if I noticed the time jump, I think I would say, like, hey, the time jumped 140.
So that's fine. So you could definitely hear that anyway, Aramis.
No, and just to be clear, I'm under the impression that this is the countdown to
that started when you put the
arriving, right? That's what I think.
Well, yeah. You don't know what that was specified though. It was just that help would arrive. You don't know what that meant though.
Right. But in my head, I think I've created the idea. So yes. I don't think I'm particularly worried about the countdown, but I would say, like, hey, the countdown sped up. It's all gonna be over soon.
It's the final countdown, indeed. Da-da-da-da.
Aramis is just going to continue to try to, use the staff at this particular point because there's nothing else really available to him.
Okay.
And as he's about to make his attack, he's like, 140, Sleepwell, make sure the way is clear. Whatever's coming here, it's going to need to take him out very, very quickly if we don't. And Aramis is going to make his attack.
Okay. So you very dramatically, like, and then hit the desk in front of him.
Yeah, clearly
kind of a
melee
clunk.
range for Aramis is just not working today.
So, and Blatt this time apparently is too hurt to make any kind of fun banter comments. Instead, he just kind of doesn't say anything. Are you going to stay where you are, Aramis?
Yeah, Aramis really doesn't have any other options at this particular point since we didn't get a long rest. And all of my
I've noticed. I've heard that
really
that's true.
gone.
I heard a rumor that you hadn't gotten a long rest. Yes.
It's like Aramis is going to curse God after this, right? God and Aramis are going to have a conversation.
End of line. Okay. So Layden is going to. Actually, that will hit. Okay, Lieutenant is starting to get a little smacked around now. Layden has started to actually put some damage behind these hits. All right, and that leads us to Kaz with Petra on deck. Kaz, what would you like to do? Specifying what would you like to do. Who knows if you'll be able to do it, but...
Yes, that question is
in a perfect
more important
world
now. Yes, more important now than it has ever been. It's taken on a slightly new meaning. I would like to have Kaz back up to about here.
Okay.
If let's see. Here-ish. And contemplates engaging the sniper, but does not know how bad this is gonna get, and let me look at Hunter's Mark,
Okay.
and see if if that would help me somehow. But I mean, it's the long winter, so who knows? Yeah. Okay. Well. I'm afraid to do anything. I have that graviton strike going on.
Do everything, all the things. Get it over with at this point. Take
Courage,
Aramis
you
out.
know.
All right. Okay. What? Sleep.
I was saying courage.
Okay.
Fortitude, strength.
I get to take 2 shots, so I'll take my 2 shots this time with the sniper.
Okay. Go ahead and fire your first shot.
Okay.
You're like, can I? Like, yeah. Like,
21.
Hit.
Okay. And the graviton
Nice.
strike will trigger. So he needs to make a strength saving throw again.
Let's see. And what did you say the DC was? I'm sorry.
14.
Yeah, this seems to hold him down for sure. Yeah, this
Really?
he does not seem to break free of it this time.
Okay. So he is restrained. He has the condition restrained.
Okay.
And it says while he's restrained by this power, the target will take 1d6 force damage at the start of each of its turns. It can choose to use an action to try to break itself out, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And then I'll roll the sniper shot damage. So that'll be Oh, hold on a second. That's not entirely right.
Wow.
There's one extra d6 in there that should not have been in there. Can I just take out one of the 2s since
Yeah,
they
that's
were
fine,
the
that's fine.
same anyway?
That's
okay,
fine.
so it should actually be a 15
Okay.
for that sniper
So
shot.
that slams into him, and despite the previous example that I've, et cetera, same effect as before, nonetheless, he sort of hits the wall, and, kind of slumps down a little bit, and you can see, like, the energy on his armor is sparking, and he says,
That's good. That's good. I'm sorry we couldn't work together. It would have been worth it, but now everyone has to die. And I'm sorry that had to happen.
and he kind of slumps, and his helmet kind of slumps over, and as he does, you can hear him say,
It was good knowing all of you for the minute or so you've got.
and his head slumps forward.
Has he collapsed?
Yep. With his back, like he sort of hit the wall, slumped down.
And has his suit seemingly powered down?
Yes.
Has anything changed in the room?
Well, yeah, if you look around the room quickly, this is in your sniper shot, you can see that the timer has jumped now to less than a minute.
Does the lieutenant react?
No, she's too busy, like, dealing with the massive Matakai in front of her that she's, like, fighting hand to hand. She doesn't necessarily notice.
Okay. I do have 1 shot left
Mm-hmm.
in my attack action.
You do?
I'd like to just take another shot at General Blatt just to make sure.
Okay. As you do this,
Yeah.
you hear something in your head, again, not static this time, and you hear something in your head say,
I really don't think you should do that, Kaz.
and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me at disadvantage, please.
Oh. Okay.
Is this a
Did you
good
use
time
your
for
advantage
inspiration?
Huh?
you-
Yeah, I did. I did it on the first one because I wasn't sure how the effects would work.
There were people asking in chat though if they could help.
Yeah,
with
if I could
inspiration.
have an
Inspiration. I mean, people are there. There's a question about up.
Absolutely.
Arudnell is trying to do
Him.
something, but he misspelled it, so you're not inspired. I'm just kidding. Yes. You were inspired, which is not as inspired. Arudnell is inspired, Kaz. Thank you, Arudnell.
Thank you, Rudinel. Okay, so now it's just a
Yeah.
flat roll.
Flat roll.
Okay. Here we go. Wisdom saving throw, huh? I have a semi-okay feeling about it. Nope.
Oh no. To your
Oh my
horror, Kaz,
God.
you find yourself lifting your sniper and firing directly at the back of Layden's head. So I need you to roll the attack for me, please. You almost feel as if you're watching yourself do this, by the way, a little bit. It almost, there's a kind of dreamlike quality to this.
So I have to roll to hit.
Yes, with all your fury and vengeance, I want all your bonuses now. You're just doing well.
25.
Well, okay,
Shit.
roll damage, please.
Excellent roll.
Thanks.
nice work there.
10. Not super bad.
Yeah, she was pretty hurt. She slams forward into the woman that she's fighting, and she kind of like, sort of and turns around, and as she turns around, she looks at you and she goes, "What?" And then you see that the woman has plunged her shiv right into the side of Layden, and Kratos up the hall screams in horror because he obviously heard this happening, and is like, and just whoa, makes some horrible like Matakayan war cry.
Yeah.
And in your head, you hear Kaz, you hear someone say, "Well, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? Why would you do something like that, Kaz? Why would you do something like that?" And so that is going to lead us to Petra. Petra, I would say that you saw. Yeah, go ahead.
Before my turn ends,
Sure.
If Kaz can, I don't know if I can speak,
You can speak, I would say.
but he will try to, and he'll say, I'm sorry. And kind of a little glitching out a bit, and then we'll say, I have an escape plan, guys.
And in your head, you hear. Okay. That now leads us to Petra, because you turn around to see like Layden like essentially slumped over, and you see sort of like Kratos like. You hear, I shouldn't say you see, you hear Kratos like enraged about something, and you heard what Kaz said. Also, Blatt seems to be not functional at the moment.
But the person who shivved Layden is still mobile?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to hit them.
She seems rather surprised, actually, like, oh, that was nice that this worked out. Okay. Yeah, they are definitely not paying attention to you, so you can get a hit in. In fact, I'm going to say you can even make this an advantage, because she is, like, a little bit stunned, actually, that she got this free shot.
Okay, so the first part of that, 23.
That's a hit, yep.
So then so I'm going to go ahead and roll the second hit unless
Yep.
you want me to. Okay.
No, that's okay. Do both hits, and then we'll do damage on both.
16.
16 will hit this one. Yes.
Okay.
So go ahead and make your damage roll your damage for both of those, please.
A 7.
Promising.
Okay, and I get to re-roll that because
right.
I have
Yep.
the great weapon. So
This is
that
such a great weapon.
by 2. It is a great weapon. Oh, a 2 instead of a 1.
Okay, so 12.
Still, it's a point.
That's right. And that definitely, the woman seems to be pretty hurt now. That blow doesn't kill her, but that was a pretty big blow because she had already taken some damage from Lady.
Yeah.
So yeah. So and by the way, you are now over engaged with her.
Okay.
So you're there. Okay. And
Guys are engaged.
I think that's all you have. Yeah, exactly. Congratulations. I think that's all you have. And that leads her. So she kind of shoves the now motionless Layden off her, whose body just topples backwards. And she turns to face you. And with this sort of light in her eyes of sort of, just defiance or something, leaps forward to attack you. The first one is a 10. The second is an 18 with her little energy shiv.
The 18 does hit.
Okay. That is going to do 5 points of damage to you.
Okay.
As she is engaged in combat with you. Sleepwell, you are up.
So this is where I need a little help.
Okay.
I know that I basically had like 1 first level power and 1 second level power left. But I don't remember if I had my 3rd level. So I know I used 1 3rd level power to make the vehicle that we had done.
Right.
But I don't remember deploying the 2nd, 3rd power, but I might have.
Can you remind me what it would have been? Like what would the 3rd power have been?
Well, that's the thing. Like I can't think of one that I would have used because it would have either been like, remember I have that like swarming attack where the nanites come and like do a monstrous amount of damage,
Right.
but in an area effect.
Right.
Like that's what I've used it before as. But I don't know what else it could have been. Like I don't.
I'd say you probably have not used it since you've been down here in Sector 77 because I don't think you used it on any of the Kanasi you ran into. I don't think, and you haven't used it inside the Roach Citadel as far as I know. So I would say probably you still have one of those left.
So
I'm looking too, and as an engineer, you actually have 3 3rd level slots at 6th level. So if you've only used 1, you might have 2 left.
Okay, so since you're looking at that, Kaz, or whoever can, I think there is like an engineer 3rd level power that's basically revive, where you can bring somebody back up to 1 hit point. Is that correct?
I'm looking. Oh, a 3rd. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's like D&D's Revivify. I don't know what it's called in Esper Genesis, but I know what you're talking about.
Right.
I'll look. Engineer.
Well,
Resuscitate. That's what you're talking about.
Resuscitate.
Yep.
Okay.
You medically treat a creature that's died within the last minute. That creature returns to life with 1 hit point. This technique cannot return to life a creature that's died of old age, nor can it restore any missing body parts.
So I'm gonna head right over to Layden, and I'm gonna see if she's either dead or if I can stabilize her if she's not dead.
She sure doesn't look. She looks dead to you. She's not breathing.
So I am going to use that resuscitate power on her.
Okay. And you do that, and she's like, like the sort of the deep kind of breath in, and sort of stares up at you. I mean, obviously, 1 hit point, very messed up. And it's like, what? And then sort of wildly looks around and sees Kaz and kind of just stares like wide-eyed at him.
Yeah, so like verbally I'm gonna say like, that was just a mistake. Just hold still, let me treat you.
Okay. Now, so Sleepwell, I guess where you are, you can do that. Theoretically, I just want you to know, it is possible that she could break off from Petra, possibly create an attack of opportunity and attack you at advantage because you're focused on trying to treat the ill. I'm just letting you know this, not to keep you from doing it. Like, that's, this is as good a tactical situation as you're going to get if you're going to be a field medic here. You know what I mean? So I'm not telling you not to do it.
I already did it. Like,
okay.
it doesn't, even if it was a bad idea.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm just letting you know. So that's just making you aware. Okay. Yeah. So and that's was your movement and your resuscitation, and that's it. I believe that's all you're doing. Yes.
I think that's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then that's Kratos. So Kratos comes running straight down here, and as he does so, like, the gang member behind him, hits him square in the back, because speaking of attacks of opportunity, and Kratos stumbles but doesn't go down, completely ignores it, and basically just heads directly towards Kaz, 10, 20, 30, towards Kaz, and tries to hit you twice, Kaz, and misses you wildly. I don't actually know how he did that, but misses you wildly, and kind of just basically almost sort of plows into you, screaming incoherently in some Madakai. It sounds pretty bad. It sounds like he's really angry. Okay, and this guy comes out and heads down this way to run after him and attacks him again. And hits again. Okay. In case anyone is curious, we are running a little bit over, but I want to try to get through the combat. We started a little bit late. We'll be done. We should be done soon, one way or the other. But I'm just letting folks know you are watching day 41, episode 41 of Esper Genesis with the amazing Esper crew in front of you. Okay, Aramis. The timer now, by the way, as you folks look over, has dropped from, what did I say it was last time? I think I said it was a minute, right? Yeah. It's now currently sitting at 40 seconds. And Aramis, you're up.
Who is she currently attacking?
She is currently attacking Petra, because Petra is the one who attacked her.
Okay, and she's got Sleepwell's trying to revive one. Okay, all right. So, and Kaz probably doesn't have a shot on her.
No, probably not, and especially not when he's got a very angry Madakai that he's contending with.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what I'm going to do next, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop to my knees and look to General Blatt and find out if he's dead.
Okay. So how are you planning on doing this? You're just going to, like...
I'm going to try to get out. I'm going to try to get to the meat inside of the armor and figure out if he's actually dead or not, or if I can get some sort of other sense, awareness of that he is actually, dead. Like,
make a mechanics check for me, please, as you try to deactivate his armor, or at least open it or do something with it.
Nice.
19, huh?
I'll take a 19.
So you sort of have a couple of switches that you find, and when you flick both of them, the faceplate like rises to reveal what looks like definitely a human, greasy dark beard flecked with gray, and eyes closed, covered in sweat. But the thing that you notice more than that is the fact that there are electrodes from the inside of this suit that seem to be wired directly into his head. And when you open the sort of faceplate, you can see the face is just there, and then his eyes flick open, no pupils now, rolled up in his head. And you hear him say in this kind of unearthly voice, "Hello, Aramis. Do you like what you see?" This does not sound like General Blatt's voice at all.
Now he's Dr. Blatt.
Yeah, Dr. Blatt, sorry. No, the doctor was not a Freudian slip. It's literally not a doctor.
Blatt, PhD.
He's a doctor. No, but General Blatt. So it does not sound like General Blatt's voice, but it sure does sound familiar.
With that 18, can I confirm, or that 19, can I confirm that that suit is not going to get up and...
Yeah, he's definitely dead. Whatever just did that like as if they were controlling a puppet, not as if it was a, human being responding or activating anything.
All right, so I'm gonna look over to Sleepwell. I'm gonna say, I think you need to see this, and then Aramis is gonna get up and move into range to attack her,
Okay.
and that will be his round, I think.
Okay. That is going to lead us to Layden, who is still kind of on the ground between, but Layden is actually not going to do anything. I think Layden is just going to sort of semi-sit up, and then is going to say, Kaz, what are you doing? Sort of like still like kind of what? Just sort of stunned. And perhaps coincidentally, it's your turn, Kaz. And just to make it clear, you have a very angry Matakai behind you that just plowed into you. So.
I would like to... if I can, I'd like to... use a forging technique or forging talent and cast Dimensional Pocket.
Okay. One of your favorites.
Yes.
Okay.
And as I'm casting it, I'm saying in the Matakai language, do they have a word for sorry?
Yes, but the word for sorry is my dishonor.
Oh, I say that.
Okay. So, and like, Kratos was literally like, just gonna do this. So he sees that, and he kind of like hesitates, and then you cast this Dimensional Pocket thing you said, right?
Yes.
So, when you cast Dimensional Pocket, you hear this kind of like, again, this in your head. How about you come to my dimension then? How about you come and spend some time with me? And the experience that you have is you do the normal thing you do where you'd be sort of going to this dimensional pocket.
Yeah. I don't have to I imagine I could decide to go in.
That's right.
This turn, but
That's right.
I would like to say something else.
Sure, yeah, you just created it.
Before I
You didn't. Nothing happens. You just heard that laughter.
Okay.
In that saying.
All right. Okay.
So go ahead and say something else if you want to.
Okay. And then I say in common or English.
And are you trying to
whatever it
defend
is.
yourself at all? By the way, I'm sorry. Other than like just.
I would imagine not, simply
Okay.
because I'm focused on creating this escape. So
Got it. Okay.
I'm just Kratos bumps into me, and then I'm just trying to cast stuff
Got
while
it.
he's doing what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, the only form of self-defense I did was saying that word.
Got it.
But
Okay.
and then I say in the common language, I don't know if the dimensional pocket it says you create an invisible entrance. So it's not visible. All right, I'll is there something? Oh, I will drop what I'd like to do. If it means that I myself am not able to get into the dimensional pocket this turn, then that's fine. But next, what I'd like to do is I'd like to light a flare. I have a couple flares on me. I'd like to light a flare and put it on the ground where I'm standing, because that marks the entrance of where the pocket is.
Okay. I guess you can do that because Kratos is so yeah, I'll allow that. He's probably going to get some pretty good hits on you if he wants to hit you at this point. But that's fine. By the way, how much does your dimensional pocket hold usually? I know you went up there with Sleepwell before.
The space can hold as many as 8 medium or smaller creatures.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then there's other stuff. There's a window. There's a futon.
Yeah,
some,
exactly.
ping
There's a
pong.
lava lamp.
Yeah.
So
Who's lava?
I would like you please to make a perception check for me, Kaz.
Yes, sir.
And then Petra's on deck.
21.
You hear, and you hear partly, it sounds almost as if it's maybe your senses have somehow been heightened or increased, but you hear a kind of piercing whistle, which is getting louder. Like this. Like that.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem to be coming from a certain direction?
Yeah, outside the Roach Citadel.
Oh. Okay.
Well, you think about that, Petra. It is your
Yeah,
turn.
and I would say, come to the flare to escape. That's all I say.
Okay. Okay. Petra, you're up.
I am going to hit this woman again.
Okay. You hit her hard last time.
I did. I am sorry, roll 20 has vanished from my.
Come on, roll.
It's an automatic success then. I think it's an automatic
Yeah,
crit,
sure.
actually, if I remember
That means you
correctly.
just roll 20. That's you
Yep.
know, that's
Yeah.
Roll
that's
20.
the default. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Here we
Not
go.
roll 1. I mean,
Say unrecognized command.
Dice.
I can't let you do that, Petra. Oh,
Long winter has corrupted world.
exactly.
15
15 will just hit.
and a natural 20 for 26.
Well,
Whoa.
damn. Let's see that critical hit damage. What would that be? What would max damage be then?
That would be 11.
Okay. All right. She now looks extremely hurt. Like, oh, like that just slams her. Like, blood, bruised bones, just bruises, bones broken. She looks to be in a bad way.
all the B words.
Hasn't rolled the damage for the first hit though.
Yeah. So I need to roll the damage for the first hit.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that. Yeah, right. So that's right. Yeah, roll damage for the first hit.
A 6
Okay.
altogether.
Yeah, like right on the edge of death, you would guess. Like very, very badly hurt. Like, sort of pants. And so then she kind of backs up a couple steps and kind of sees like the situation in front of her, and she turns and basically leaps over as if to escape. Now you can, if you wish, Aramis, you were attacking her melee as well, so I'd say Aramis and Petra can both get an attack of opportunity on her if you wish. You don't have to, but you could take one on her because she's clearly like looks to be trying to run away.
And it will probably kill her if I hit her.
I would guess so,
Yeah,
yes. Based on
so
previous
I-
experience, yes.
Do we
I'm
have the
not-
ability though to designate trying to do non-lethal damage?
You could try to do
Depending
that.
on the weapon.
Right, I was going to say, I mean, you could try to do that, but it's going to be awfully hard to do it this quickly. You know, like, because basically you'd have to, you could do it with this weapon, you'd have to reverse it and then, like, hit with a handle. Probably not. You could try to knock her out maybe with just your fist. You could try to do, like, an unarmed strike, basically.
Just
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll try an unarmed strike because I don't want to kill her.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Couldn't she instead do? Couldn't she grapple her instead? And then do no damage
Yeah, she
and
could
just
try to
grab
do
onto
that.
her?
I'd allow that. Yeah.
I think. I mean, not to take away your agency, Cat, but I think that's probably the best thing is to hold on to her, so maybe we can get some information out of her.
Night Hillness. Okay. Yes. So if you were going to try to do a grapple, that is going to be an opposed strength check. So you're going to make a strength check, and then she's going to make one and try to resist that effect. So go ahead and make a strength check for me, please.
Sorry, for some reason. Oh, god damn it.
And athletics would work as well if you have this.
Yeah, I'm hitting that point where I find when I type it into the chat window, for some reason it doesn't work. And then I go over here and it works. Okay, so this 6
That's 6.
may not have grappled.
Yeah,
particularly
not quite.
well.
She's able to. So she breaks free from that attempt. Aramis, you could try to do the same thing if that's what you want to do. or you could. It's up to you, but both of you have that shot.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I would be better at hitting her, but at this point, I don't know what the hell else to do.
I mean, you could also just hit her. It's up to you, or do nothing.
Well, I don't want to kill her. I
Right.
really want her to stick around.
Right.
So, and I don't have. Let me double check this. My prime talents. Can I use this?
Not as an attack of opportunity, I don't think. No.
Really? Because it's an action and it's instant.
Yeah, but it's ranged.
It's ranged, but it's okay. All right, sure.
It's ranged. I don't think you can do that. But I'll allow you to. I'll allow you to do. Yeah, I'll allow you to do a grapple or an unarmed strike, or. I was trying to think, even if you had like a I don't know, if there was a restraining whip talent or something, like maybe something like that. But
I'm gonna use my inspiration on this one.
Okay.
And I'm
shoot
gonna
her
take.
legs. She's pretty hurt anyway, Div. Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, I just rolled it. I just rolled the strength check.
Oh, well, let's see. She could crit miss. She did not crit miss. Okay, so you try to do that. She kind of again stumbles forward.
Hold on.
Yep.
Oh, that's an 18 there with the inspiration.
Oh, with the inspiration. I'm sorry. I was looking at the 3. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. Yes, that absolutely works. She does not defeat your 18 for sure.
Okay.
So you tackle her, I assume.
So yeah, so I kind of grab her and say, hey, Petra, help me, and hold her as best as I possibly can.
I will attempt to help.
All right. As you do this, by the way, I would like both Petra and you to make perception checks for me, please. And while you're making those perception checks, this third gang member starts to back up, and then also basically turns and runs. And Kratos is so occupied with Kaz that he just runs the hell out.
How about a 15?
So Petra's very occupied on what she's doing, apparently. She's like, I'm going to help. With a 15, Aramis, you hear like this whistle that's getting louder and louder. And you can see now that the timer is down to about 25 seconds.
I think we need to get the hell out of here. There's something incoming.
Then we will move out of here.
Okay. So now you have the. Now, are you all heard what Kaz yelled? By the way, we're out of combat for the moment. You all heard what Kaz yelled. So are you going to go to this flare that he set for you?
Yes, because I trust Kaz.
Was I already able to go through it, or
not yet?
Am I still out? Yeah,
not yet.
That's what
now,
I
I'm
thought.
taking us out of initiative, but you're going to be the last to react.
Yeah.
So, but the rest of you do. So if you want to get there, Petra and Aramis, you could do that. Sleepwell has to make his own decision about what he wants to do.
Definitely doing it.
And in answer to a potential question, Sleepwell, you do think you can get Layden up and like pushed to the flat, like you're close enough that you could probably stumble towards it in that time if you wanted to do that.
Well, we didn't get to my part in combat. I was going to use my last men power to give her 1d8 plus 3.
I can still let you do that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can still let you do that. So that gives her, and that gives her enough health that she's still hurt, but I mean, she can move a little bit.
So that's, an additional 5 hit points now.
Okay. Yeah, that's enough that she can probably at least, move and function. So she's able to sort of get up. Are you then going to go to the escape route suggested to you by Kaz or not?
So at this point, we're not doing free actions anymore, but I yelled at Kaz, you have to be honest. We can't be all trapped in a little room with you if you aren't safe. Are you safe?
Is that safer than whatever might be coming, though? Oh.
We're not that far from the entrance. We can run out. I just used the device for help. The countdown was just the help that we were supposed to send. I mean, they wouldn't just blow us up, would they?
And in your ears.
I don't know. And with that, I allow myself to get ported up into it.
Okay. So you're left just staring at the open like, oh god. So what do you think, Sleepwell?
So I look at Layden and kind of like see what she's thinking.
And Layden sort of says, I don't. He shot me in the back. Do you hear that? Now you can make a perception check for me now as well, Sleepwell, please.
Okay. It's a 12.
Even a 12, you can now hear like this whistling sound. And Layden says, that's an incoming rocket. Something. I don't know what's wrong with... We don't have time. I'll kill him.
I grab Layden. I grab Layden's hand at this point of just like, look, Kaz is a good guy. Whatever's going on with him, he's fighting it. Let's trust him for the moment, and I will protect you with my own life.
Okay. And so you do that, and then she allows you to bring her to wherever. So if you're going to go to that, okay.
So yeah, we're going to try to get sucked up into the hole.
Okay. You do that, and that leads us to, I think, and Petra and Armis had already gone. You get into the dimensional pocket, and just as you are sort of going up there, you have this sort of strange experience, because when you're inside the dimensional pocket, I believe you can see outside of it, but you are still protected by it. So all of you have this strange experience of being up inside of it, and then seeing below, but of course silently, just flame, just mushroom cloud up from the area where you just were, going up basically right in the dimensional space. And you're all seeing that, except for one person, because lying motionless on the floor of his own dimensional pocket is Kaz. Kaz, you are not apparently in this dimensional pocket, or at least you don't imagine that you are. Instead, you find yourself in what seems like an open field. Green grass waving, sun above. There's actually two suns that are set above you. And walking across the field towards you, you see this large, white-haired, tall, possibly maybe a Promethean, but more likely human, tall with white hair, possibly male, comes over and looks down at you as you sort of sit looking around you and says, well, Cosmoritis, welcome to my version of your dimensional pocket. My name's Winter. We have to chat. And that's where we're going to
Son of a
into
bitch.
this session today.
Damn it.
That's awesome.
I've been wanting to sign up for therapy. There's no better time. What a place, you know? Where's
Oh man,
He's pretty.
good times. I'm sorry that we ran so far over, everyone, but I really wanted to try to at least get through the combat because this is obviously going to have a big ramifications for the crew going forward on multiple levels. Oh man, I cannot wait for next session. But good stuff, everyone. Really, really good work with the combat. That was not an easy combat, not because you were necessarily going to get outflanked by the combat people, but you have like multiple issues dealing with it, you know, the timer and what the hell that's all about, and like, you know, and then what's happening with Kaz, and you know what all of you figured out. What had been very clearly said was an issue going on with Kaz previous to that. So all of you did very well with that, and all set against the backdrop of the wonderful story we heard to begin it all. So I will start with Zach. Zach, good work today, and again, you handled well. I'm fully aware that it's not fun to lose agency over your own character, which is why I do it very sparingly and with. But this, I think, has been established as a possible concern for a while. So, you know, having said all of that, how did you feel about whatever the hell just happened to you today? And where will the lovely folks see you next?
Arv, you will receive no complaints from me for your handling of this masterful storytelling. Not just with Kaz, but with us finally confronting General Blatt, which I thought was funny. We were looking for him like literally all over the city. We left the Citadel. We went to his garage. We went outside, saw some dead people.
He's
We're
just
like,
in the
where
Eastern
is this
room."
guy? He's just in
Yeah.
the one room we didn't check. It's the D&D rule.
Always
number
the
one.
way, right?
But yeah, no, I am definitely, I am the type of player, to let it be known, that would prefer my character, you know, perish or be sacrificed if it made sense for the story, you know. Not saying that that's what's about to happen.
No, I was gonna
but,
say he's not
you
dead,
know,
but
yeah. But I have no, it makes perfect sense, and I was expecting it, and I'm glad I didn't have a gravity gun in my hand when I shot it.
jeez,
late in-
I know.
Yeah.
I actually was like, well, how do I handle that? Because like,
Yeah.
and also, you know, side note, I have never seen a campaign where someone has used Dimensional Pocket to save everyone's ass more times than you. Like, it is
Yeah.
amazing how many times
Yeah.
you like get out of a part where a ship
It's-
blows up, where a
Yep.
place blows up. Like,
Yep.
oh my
Well,
gosh.
in sci-fi campaigns, you're gonna get a lot of stuff blowing up. You know.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if D&D's rope trick is used as much, because also I don't think too many classes have access to rope trick. I think that's just
Right.
like, I only know that.
But it's an
arcane
underrated
tricks are
spell.
close,
Like
but-
it always has
Yeah.
been an underrated spell because it literally is a way to get yourself out of a situation. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Exactly.
so yeah.
So anyway, yeah, lots of fun tonight. What a great night. You know, starting off with that reading by some guy, forget his name.
Some
I don't know.
dude.
I think he's important.
Yeah, Jean
Um,
or something like that.
Yeah, it was Jamar.
Yeah,
something. No.
yeah.
Wow.
I think it was William Shatner, right?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That guy.
But anyway, no. All jokes aside, yeah, a great night. Again, very happy for you, Kat, and also Carlos is just like, oh, I also had my work read, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, no big deal. Also, LeVar. Yeah.
yes. You got the little pip, the Star Trek pips that they have on their.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, and then as far as tonight's story, I'm excited to see where it goes, and glad that my dimensional pocket gets us out of another explosion. That's all. And excited for ArvCon. You're the only streamer that I know of that has like a personal traditional event for your channel, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it's also nice, all the stuff that you're doing for charity and for Kilobyte. So I'm definitely looking forward for that.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And yeah, it'll be again. I don't know that it'll be changed that much for the players, except possibly for scheduling and hopefully promotion leading up to it. You know, in that we'll really want to see. You know, but I'll talk to the players about this separately about how we can do it. I really would love to. You know, we at one point raised on 1 year we raised over $3,000 in a single year. Last year was more like 2,000. So I mean that was 3,000 was a lot. But I you know, my goal is to try to get past 2,000 again this year if we can. And I know that this is going to be a huge challenge because of what we're going through globally. Like, it's going to be hard. So I'm revising my estimates downwards because I know that everyone's struggling everywhere. And my hope is that if anything, we can use it as a way to, again, bring ourselves together as a community and kind of think of it as a way we all rally together towards a positive cause. Because while the world is suffering from coronavirus, the world continues to suffer from diabetes, from, you know, heart disease, from cancer, and from, you know, many other, and hunger and poverty, things that aren't related directly to disease. So, you know, there's many great causes. So this is just one of them. But I appreciate that very much, and it's one that my community always looks forward to, and that everyone really, you know, pulls together. So hopefully we'll be able to make something good out of it. But good stuff today, Zach. I appreciate it. Moving right along, that leads us to Carlos. Carlos, it was really great to see again you back in the saddle once again with Sleepwell, and Sleepwell having to sort of be in a situation here of like, you know, a lot of this was just sort of in this combat trying to figure out how to get the best sort of things in, and looking and being like, this is great, like this is going to work in our favor, and whatever this thing was that you had started, and you know, there may have been something else done to, you know, the timer did seem to be messed up a little bit, so it may not have been totally uncorrupted, you know, assistance, but nonetheless, I thought you managed things tactically pretty well as you were trying to do stuff, and that mass treatment was pretty clutch towards the beginning of the fight as well. How did you feel about stuff today? Where will the lovely folks see you next?
So, I mean, really interesting combat, because, like you said, there were many factors going on that felt very role play driven. So, part of what we were trying to do was just figure out like how to affect things or how to make things work in, no time at all.
Right.
But also, I knew as a player that, that timer that was going off might not have been the thing that Sleepwell was suspecting, but Sleepwell tends to like make an assumption about something and kind of go with it. And so, his idea was like, oh, this is like the get out of jail free card. I'll just plug this in and like, and he kept, I think like saying like, you guys are in trouble, not really thinking that this whole wipe was going to be, something that was even possible. So that was really fun. Also, just to let people on a little insight, when I first came into this campaign, I came in as a later player than the other characters. you know I was asking Greg, what kind of characters do they need? Like, how you have your normal setup of a party, like what do they need? And Greg was like, they need a cleric. like,
It's just like,
need
am I
healing.
wrong? I mean, like, what? It's just
No,
like,
you're not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah. And I read about the engineer, and the engineer was very flexible as a healer character, like not at all limited to just healing. But it was really important, like you said, to do that mass heal, but also that resuscitate. I feel like I want to use that as
Yeah.
a role play point.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the first time he's used that power, and he brought someone back to life.
And
you know?
it so well connects, by the way, with last session where he lost someone or feels like he lost people. Then and you were like to so much death, and here you were able to reverse that. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I mean,
Nice.
like if Aramis thought that Sleepwell had a god complex before, like, oh my god, wait till next session.
Oh man.
Oh, great.
Well, I look at my hands, the hands of a god.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The only thing I'm worried about for next session is whether we leveled up or not right now. I'll deal with it sleep well as we get along.
And I could use like
This
an
is-
8-hour cat nap too. So
Yeah, this
At least 8 hours.
yeah, I was gonna say we will see how long you want to hang out in this this bunk bed or whatever that Kaz has set up with his
little
man
bungalow.
cave, his Bellare cave. But anyway, but always a pleasure, Carlos, and we will see you. I guess we'll see you with us in a couple of weeks. But when is your virtual tour? It will not have started yet. When is your virtual tour starting?
Yeah, so I think the virtual tour is going to be like May 4th, May 5th, in that kind of range. So
Okay.
we'll have at least one more game session before I'm going great guns on that sort of thing. But I'll be doing like promotional stuff for Sal and Gabby Fix, and yeah, that's basically what I'll be doing. And I did like one episode of something called Volcanic Writing to help kids 4th to 7th grade.
I
do some
watched that.
creative
That was
writing.
fun.
So yeah, I'm gonna maybe try to get one more of those out, and yeah, just I've been playtesting Negocios Infernales, this game that I'm working on Roll20 as well. So we're gonna get another big good test in before the next session that we meet.
Good stuff. And that, of course, is a really fun game. And I know that you've been getting some assistance from some other potential Esper Genesis players around here. May have given you an assist there too.
Thank you, Johnny.
But yeah, so that's great. I can't wait to see more about that. I should also mention that because Carlos is one of the people affected by this, that you may have seen this announcement, but if not, that Origins in Columbus has had to reschedule their con from June to October. They are also thinking of doing a kind of virtual con in June that will also possibly involve some author events, and I will sort of let you and the other participants know when we get there. This is not surprising to me. I didn't see any way that you were going to get 20,000 people together in Columbus in June. I just didn't. I don't see how that happens under current circumstances. So October, and either we will have a handle on this in October, or we won't, and we'll have to wait longer. But it's going to make for a hell of a busy October when we actually get to that point. But I was sorry about that because obviously I'm also a big fan of Argents, and I co-run with John Helfers and Aaron Rosenberg the Argents Library. Kat did this last year, and Carlos and CSA Cooney we're both going to be coming to that along with others. And unfortunately, that's been put on hold. But I think everyone in the world understands why it's been put on hold, and so yeah. But anyway, that struck me. I did want to mention that more details of that will be to come. But always a pleasure, Carlos, and I look forward to a couple weeks from now when we have you back. Moving right along, again, Kat, I will echo what everyone else has said. Thank you for sticking around a little bit longer, and thank you so much for again letting us share that with you. That was really great. The opening of this, to really hear a wonderful story and being read and read well, and I think that was great. And it really gave there was a lot of, there's always good energy in these sessions, but I really felt like the session itself felt just like good, because we were like, that was great. We heard some really good writing, and it was a really wonderful thing to happen, and then we got to do this. So it was fun to watch that. And Petra now has got some things to think about, I think, in regards to what might be going on with her friends, with people around her. What is this deal about people knowing what, you said at some point in chat, like, this guy knows too much. So all that is going to be stuff for Petra to think about. So how'd you feel about today? Where will the lovely folks see you next?
Today has just been a fabulous day. I don't know
What a
that
day.
it gets much better than today. It was really exciting.
Woke up, had a phone call with LeVar Burton.
I love
just
LeVar
as you do.
Burton. Holy cow, as one does.
Yes, as one does.
This weekend, I'm teaching a bunch of classes. We've actually got some kind of exciting stuff coming up tomorrow. Evan Peterson is teaching Get Weird, how to make your writing truly weird and wonderful. And then in the afternoon, Kate Hartfield is teaching writing interactive fiction.
Nice.
So if you're interested, just go to my website and you can find out about the classes this weekend. I've also been running for friends and family and students, both former and current, and all my Patreon people. We are doing daily co-working sessions where basically we spend a couple of hours together in a Zoom call and say what we're working on, and then we do 30-minute silent sprints together. And at the end of every 30 minutes, people say how they did, and it's just been a really nice way to socialize. So if anybody is interested in those, feel free. People are not just writing. We had somebody doing their taxes, and somebody yesterday was filing a patent. So lots of work going on.
Wow, that's good stuff. Very neat.
Oh, and this is, I'm sorry, let me go on. This session was awesome. The sessions are always awesome. And Petra is such an interesting character. And I got a chance to hit things, which is always good. So yeah, I'm really curious to see where we are going. And was it really session 46?
Yeah.
We've been playing for like 2 years.
41, but
41.
It was, session 41. Yeah. Cause we, played a couple times a month usually.
Yeah.
And so, it is, time flies when you're having fun, and you're not quite out of viral Fallout the Adventure, but very close to that.
Yeah.
And so you may have a new title next session, but we'll see. And perhaps, and I'm not going to say, I think what I would say is, consider what possible ways you'd like to advance your characters in the event that a leveling event was to happen during our next session. That could conceivably occur depending on how things break down. Depending on how things go. So we'll see if Zach doesn't screw it up. No, I'm just kidding. That's completely.
It's all up to me.
It's all up to you.
I'm talking to the end game boss right
Wow.
Exactly. It's not even my final form. Anyway, but thank you so much,
Yes.
Kat. I really appreciate it. And yeah, congratulations again on a really great day on a lot of fronts. And again, congrats on the Nebula nom too. Moving right over to last but certainly not least, Johnny. Johnny also, I was really digging the flaming discs thing right off, and it was so funny to me that it was like bam, 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 yeah, and then miss, miss, miss. God, like it was just sort of like, what the hell? Because you're like, but you had to definitely contend with a lot of things. Again, this combat there was a lot of different facets you had to consider. So it was interesting to see that and to consider, once the Chef Boyardee thing, didn't work out, how you were going to try to reason and negotiate with this guy. Although it was pretty obvious that this guy was not really that interested. Clearly, it was either going to be like, join my crew, and you were like, no, and then he said, well, then that'll be the end of our discussion. So it wasn't a whole lot. I think you could probably tell based on the fact you guys had already blown up half of his place. But how did you feel about today, and where would the lovely folks see you next?
Today was interesting because Aramis really didn't have much he could do beyond just blunt force trauma after 2 attempts at the flaming discs, right?
Yeah.
So mechanically speaking, the lack of a long rest really does sort of challenge us. Even doing a short rest I don't think we even really took the time to do anything like that and try to do any type of recovery. So,
Yeah, you got
um,
pushed a lot in this one.
yeah, and there, I mean, 2 episodes ago, it was like, oh shit, big thing happens, then another one, and then by the third time that happens, we were just like, I don't know how we're going to get out of this kind of a situation. And then the pushback towards General Blatt was kind of a fun push, and this is a fun, satisfying conclusion, and I'm looking forward to Cause's epilogue, which takes us, to whatever it is next that we have in store. But so yeah, thank you very much. Had a great time. Thank you for doing the stream thing beforehand, listening to Cats, reading by LeVar Burton. That was fantastic. It was really just amazing just to be a part of that, and that story was amazing. I can't wait to play it for my partner. We're probably going to listen to it tonight again, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Fine folks can see me next week over on Unmade Gaming's channel on Wednesday night. We're doing our second episode of City of Mist, where I am actually a player this time around, so that's a lot of fun. The Tales from the Loop game that I've been trying to get off the ground has been plagued with a number of challenges, including some real technical problems. If you are a Zoom user and you use Streamlabs OBS, there are some real challenges to navigate there.
I just use regular OBS, but yeah.
Well, so they're just, in short, there were some changes that Zoom made that actually make it a little bit more challenging for some people who are using it. So it's just the way that, so anyways, but that will be on for next week. Looking forward to that as well. And again, I'm recording the next session for Dark Fortunes, which is the 5e sort of piratey podcast in the Humblewood setting, which has been a lot of fun and getting a lot of attention. So I'm really, really happy with that. So, and that's about it.
Awesome, man. Good stuff, and good stuff from the entire crew. You will see these folks back here, I believe, in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, when we will be back here at 8:30 Eastern. I think that's right. And we'll be back here at 8:30 Eastern and continuing with the conclusion of Viral Fallout and the beginning of something I won't tell them the title of yet. But really good work today. Really have been enjoying this campaign and this crew. And again, it was a great pleasure to hear Kat's story. Chat, can we get some love for all the players, for Johnny, for Kat, for Carlos, and for Zach? And I will see you lovely folks in a couple of weeks, if not sooner, depending on individual days.
Thank you, Greg. I was trying to
Thank you, Greg.
Carlos to
My
it.
pleasure. Bye for now, all.
Bye, chat.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, boy. What a really enjoyable experience that was. That was really good. And again, like, this is so important for us right now as humans, to have the opportunity to do something like this in an environment where everything seems confusing and just, I think we sometimes don't realize how sort of pressure comes down upon us over time. And that's really been the experience of this, right? Is just the experience of constantly feeling this overall pressure in the world. And so it's been great to be able to be part of these campaigns where you can kind of break away from that a little bit, and you can escape to another place where, and that's not, and incidentally, escapism is not also just forget about how terrible things are, because there's some of that, but escapism also implies that you can kind of imagine what the world might be like in a different way. And don't ever forget that art itself often gives people an opportunity to imagine, what would happen if we worked together like those characters did? What would happen if, instead of being angry at each other, we worked together in community? What would it be like if we, right? And those things all have a profound effect on our consciousness and the way that we do things. So that was something which I think was really nice to see in the story that we heard. You got to see this really lovely story, well read, and obviously LeVar Burton, so everyone's amazed about that. And everyone was really felt closer, I think, after listening to that. And then we got to play a session where, again, we got to feel closer as a, cast and myself as the GM, and you folks in chat who were giving inspirations, who were sort of like reacting to the story, who were talking to each other. That's what this is all about. And so I was really glad that we have the opportunity to do that, not just to escape bad things, but to imagine what if things were different, and maybe then when we come back to our real world, to see what we can do in a way to make those real things happen in our life. If people can fight through suspicions and doubts and uncertainties in that environment, maybe we can try to do some of the same thing in our environment. And there are heroes and heroic actions taking place every day right now. The front lines of every hospital, you see heroes getting up and going back in. And that's inspiring, and it's the kind of thing which we can use to fuel us when we do get past this, and we will get past it in the end. So I'm honored to be able to be a part of that. So with that said, though, I need to get out of here because it is late. I'm going to be back with you folks tomorrow evening, starting at around 7 p.m. Eastern, when the Infinity and Beyond crew will return with D&D and Curse of Strahd. So we'll be back there, and that campaign has gone off the rails. I mean, in a good way, gotten crazy. And so I'm very excited to see how that crew handles that. That will be happening tomorrow. And then next week, we have a big week sort of planned with a whole bunch of stuff happening between Emberwind and Dragon of Icespire Peak and, more various D&D stuff, Adventures of Middle-earth going on. And we got a lot of stuff happening. So it's going to be great, and you will not want to miss it. And definitely check it out and be there because it's going to be awesome. But that is going to do it for me for now. If you like what you saw and heard, please make sure to follow the channel. That is always very much appreciated. Please make sure to check out my YouTube with !ArvTube, Discord with !ArvCord, Twitter with !ArvTweets. Website for all of that is arvaneleron.com. I want to remind everybody that my Curse of Strahd audio podcast, for those of you who want to listen to it in audio form, is going up there consistently, now done, edited by the amazing Nomadic, who has been doing that, and he's been great, and he's going to be posting those, and we're actually current as far as like consistent audio production. We're about a year behind the actual live campaign because we get 3 podcasts basically out of every single session. So, you figure that out and you can see why we'd be about a year behind. But we're getting there, and it's been great, and I think people have enjoyed the audio of it, so you can let people know and give them the info that they might require. But that is, anyway, so that's the deal with the website. Financial side, !Arvtreon, it's the Patreon right there, really helps me, helps the channel. I can put more money into the campaign, money back into the channel. It allows me to pay for example, Roll20, which costs about $100 a year to do the pro version. Allows me to pay for Zoom, which also is something I use constantly for these campaigns, in addition to being able to pay. Some people pay the vocalists and things like that. So this is all stuff that happens based upon support. And so any support you can give really makes a difference, and of course is good for you as well, because you can get critiques of your writing, one of my band's first albums, the band's 3 albums, etc., etc. Oh, nice, a macro. Yeah, no, you guys do a good job as it is, but anyway, so the Patreon's very helpful for that. The sub button, we are right now sitting at about 49 subscribers. We were at 52 subs a few days ago. I actually think we had 2 more people, so I think we're actually up to 51 now. So we're right about 51 subs, which is great. So hopefully we can continue to push that onward and upward up to 55 and beyond. That also makes a big difference, so thank you everybody there. And you get to use those new awesome emotes that I saw being used today. Arvany Roar, Arvany Woe, Arvany What, Arvany, if you're a tier 3, Arvany Love. Tier 2 is Arvany Smug, in addition, of course, to Arvany Hype and, of course, Arvany Witch. So you can use all of those by joining us here and subbing to the channel. And that also allows you to use inspirations, as does the Patreon. So thank you for those of you who used that today. There you go. Thanks, Rock God. Man, I love those so much. Done by Terry Tunes. And then last but certainly not least, we have the shop, !Arv Shop, where you can get merchandise for Infinity and Beyond, and where you can get merchandise for Adventures of Middle-earth, done by Terry Tunes, who did those, most of those emotes, at least the bird ones. So that stuff goes to support us and allows you to get some awesome swag too. And last but certainly not least, the publishing stuff. Icarus is my Icarus and Jelinek graphic novels. Again, I've gotten more art. Achala is now working on the last of the pencils for Icarus, which is the last complete from scratch work he has to do on this project. Then he has to go through and do the inks, and then he has to finish up with the colors with those. He's finished the back cover. He's finished the cover now for Icarus, in addition to the cover that we already have for Jelinek. So it's great. He did such a good job with it, and I'm super pleased with the art and super happy with how it worked. And so it's good. I'm very pleased about it. Not that kind of a witch, a different sort of witch. Anyway, but that's the deal with that. So So thank you for those of you who have been able to support me there. That would be much appreciated if you pre-order from them. Exclamation Point Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library 5e sourcebook adventure, which you can get from Alligator Alley Entertainment. Again, that is supporting Alligator Alley as well. And at the moment, their store, Adventure Game Store, is shut down because of everything that's going on. So any support you can give is much appreciated. And last but certainly not least, of course, Exclamation Point Greyshade KS is my Greyshade Kickstarter. Again, that's on hold while all of this resolves, but sooner rather than later, we will get that thing started again, and we'll be able to come back to you with what I think is going to be a really exciting Kickstarter. We just can't do it when, half of the world's economy is, dealing with disease, it's shut down, and then we're dealing with disease and all that. So we will get there, I promise, but just patience is appreciated. Thank you to all my wonderful people who were here today. We are going to do a raid today. If you are not a sub, you're going to do this, which is the Arvanauts Have Landed, followed by Twitch raid, lowercase Twitch, uppercase R, lowercase AID. If you are a sub, you're going to do this, which is the Arvanauts Have Landed, get hyped. I should probably end like an Arvany roar into that too, like get hyped and Arvany roar. I'll have to think about that. But anyway, please put that in when you are brought over automagically to the raid place that we are going to be taken to momentarily. I want to thank all of the amazing people who made this possible today. Thank you to my wonderful, first of all, thank you to my players, Johnny, Video Store Cowboy, Cat Rambo, Carlos Hernandez, Right Teach Play, and Zach Clay. Thank you to those wonderful players for doing such a great job. Thank you to Alligator Alley for sponsoring us in this campaign. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Rudnell, Coven Guy, Dragonspear, and Rock God. Thank you to my subscribers, Rudnell, Coven Guy, Dragonspear, Rock God, Echo Alpha X5, Nonstop, Mrs. Dunsel, Mrs. Who the hell's that? Mrs. Dunsel, Uncle Elias, and of course, as I said, Right Teach Play. Thank you so much. Thank you to my viewers, Alfred Judicus, Big Black Tar, Cat Rambo. Again, Cat, thank you so much. Congratulations on all the stuff. Thank you to Commander Root, Divinorium, Genly. Thank you to Harlequin. Thank you to Instructor. Thank you to Jagtrist. Thank you to Jaber. Thank you to Ranos, Remastino, Trish Matz, Hugh Christensen, V&K, Video Store Cowboy. Again, Johnny, thanks so much. Great stuff tonight. Thank you to Virgo Praz and Zach Clay. Once again, thank you, Zach, so much. That's going to do it for me. Much love to all of you. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, physically distance, socially connect, but physically distance. And I'll see you back here for D&D with Infinity Beyond Curse of Strahd, Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, everyone be good to each other. Have a good night.
When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I grew older, I set aside childish ways. Corinthians 13:11. In the distant future, mankind has spread into the stars and found it is not alone. Within the cluster of planets known as the Silrain Heart, many races strive for survival or supremacy. But throughout this array of planets, societies, and cultures, each has one thing in common: the Crucibles. Scattered throughout the galaxy, each moon-sized structure contains a core of raw sorin, a form of mysterious energy used to power ships, cities, and sometimes the warping of the fabric of reality itself. Beings who can do this have been given a name: Espers. The power of God has been granted to God's children. It is a time of terror. It is a time of wonder. It is the time of Esper Genesis.